Are we live? It looks like we're back to live.
Yeah, we're back. We're back.
We're back, baby.
Bender's back, baby. Okay. He got those baby back ribs.
Did you say should have got those baby back ribs?
No, I said he got those baby back ribs.
I wish I had baby back ribs. I mean, except the baby back ribs that fucking Chili's suck ass now. Or they did. I'll try them again sometime. Alright. Are you going to continue reading it or no?
I'll read this part of it. So, according to the Pentagon, Congress has provided $189.7 billion for missile defenses of all kinds since 1985, the heyday of Ronald Reagan's Star Wars Strategic Defense Initiative, which was aimed to provide a space-based defense against a Soviet nuclear attack. Some of that investment has paid off. For example, on the new Patriot missiles, now widely used by the United States and its allies, along with other land and sea-based systems designed to reflect shorter-range missiles in battle, but defenses against ICBMs falling from space at an enormous speed have proven far more elusive, and not for lack of trying.
Well, see, those ICBMs won't fall from space, though.
No, it's the entire part of an ICBM. An ICBM goes to space.
Really? I thought it just flew over the curvature of the Earth.
No, because the density of air and atmosphere would slow it down.
That's true.
So, yeah. Besides, we looked at it. Space isn't that difficult to get to.
That is true. I mean, especially for a missile carrying nothing but a bomb.
Yeah. And right, and like 99% of it's missile, 10% like 1% bomb.
Missile. I like you, missile to bomb ratio. God damn it. I was like, wait a minute, something's wrong here.
Partly we are failing because it's the hardest thing the Pentagon has tried to do, says Phil Coyle, who served as the Pentagon's chief weapons tester in the Clinton administration and in the White House office.
Well, our science and technology departments are so fucked. Right now.
Technology policy in the Obama administration. We had more success with shooting short-range and medium-range systems, but they are going more slowly. They are traveling in the atmosphere. That is different than traveling at 15,000 miles per hour in space, especially when the enemy is trying to fool you, such as with countermeasures and decoys. 3 of the previous 4 tests have failed. That is a 75% failure rate. Even with the most recent successes, 2 of 5 is 40%. 40 is not a passing grade. So basically, if somebody launches ICBMs like, say, Russia, the country is fucked.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those things I said probably would happen.
Well, no, you said the system would stop them.
I said the system can. I thought it could.
No, now we're saying it can't.
Well, I've been lied to all my life by the government. I'm not surprised.
They're not lying. They're telling me like it is.
They've always touted it to be an end-all be-all. They've always touted the fact that we've had SHIELD. There have been many a discovery program that talked about ICBMs and countermeasures. Many.
So basically, you know,
we've all been lied to all our lives. We might be fucked.
Coast, you're going to be fucked.
I mean, we're going to be fucked in Texas.
About 40% fucked. No, 60% fucked. 40% okay.
Here in Texas, we're fucked.
Well, not really.
Maybe. Well, we're going to live.
I mean, it says the ICBM interceptors, which they only have 36 of them. 32 are in Alaska, because Russia.
Because of Russia.
And 4 are at the California Vandenberg Air Force Base.
So, literally all of them.
So, literally all of them are on the West Coast. So, if something comes from the East Coast, God help us, Europe better stop it.
Well, nothing's going to come from the East Coast.
Russia could.
I think they would probably just shoot from the West.
I mean, yeah, ideally they just come in on the East Coast, or West Coast, I mean. Yeah. Considering Russia and Alaska are right there.
Oh, if they're smart.
And
if they're smart, they'll use nuclear missile ICBM launching subs.
I suppose so, like they did in Fallout.
Yeah. Whoops.
Of course, they're not ICBMs, they're short to medium range missiles at that point. When they launch from the sun.
Medium to long range. If they're missiles for specifically nuclear payloads, they're going to be longer.
Oh, really? If you have a sub...
It's not going to go short. You're not going to fucking Korean missile a goddamn, like, ship less than 100 fucking yards or something like that.
Well, that's like super short. That short range in missile terms is a lot longer when it comes to, like,
Short-range missile term still means big fucking boom from a nuke.
No, what I'm saying is that they wouldn't need to be like long-range missiles, because if you have a sub that's off the coast of a country you're attacking, you can pretty much hit the damn country.
Well, yeah.
Just toss a stone and you hit it.
I don't think you'd hit really much important shit from the coast.
I mean,
attacking a tiny
no, because I think it's like 80% of people live on the coast in the United States. Coast also contains...
Bye-bye, coastal fucks, even though
Or coastal.
Bye-bye, coastal fucks, I'm going to continue to iterate.
I mean, 80% of the country lives on the coast, and, like... Well,
Goodbye, coastal nerds.
That's one of the largest cities in the world on the coast. New York and like
Coastal
LA.
nerds.
So,
Houston. Coast.
Houston, too. So, yeah. It says here that the North Korean missile says it could travel more than 3,400 miles. Not enough to hit Alaska, but probably Hawaii.
It says enough to hit Alaska.
Oh, enough to hit Alaska, which means it can hit Hawaii. Which means it could probably also hit somewhere in California or the coast.
I mean, I still don't believe their technology can actually hit anything they target. Not yet, anyway.
Well, probably. No.
Unless Russia's pumping shit into them. It's
China.
possible. I don't think China's pumping shit into them. I'm not sure. I mean, I get China's probably making all of their stuff because everything's made in China.
Okay, moving on.
China.
China.
Speaking of China, we got that guy right there.
Australian. China.
Donald Trump rejected plan to defeat ISIS because it's too similar to Barack Obama. Really, motherfucker?
Mm-hmm.
When you gonna like put your fucking e-dick away? Like, what the fuck? What is this? This is stupid. No, fuck that idea. I don't want to be like that other guy. I want to be original.
I don't want to be like that black guy.
Pretty much. Donald Trump rejected the U.S. military's plan for tackling ISIS because he thought it was too similar to Barack Obama's, reports suggest. Despite the terrorist group having all but driven out of Iraq and under threat of losing its strongholds in Syria, the White House is said to have asked officials to come up with new proposals in order to show that Mr. Trump is different to... Yep, there it is.
I mean, does anybody give a shit that... I mean, only Trump gives a shit that it's Obama's plan.
Military leaders are reluctant to fundamentally change a strategy that appears to be working, according to the Daily Beast. Nice. Which quoted 2 U.S. officials and a senior administration official. Recent months have seen a number of successes in the battle against ISIS. The militant group has been driven out of its former Iraqi stronghold of Mosul, and opposition forces have surrounded its last remaining bastion, the city of Raqqa, in Syria. 50 ISIS leaders are reported to have been killed by U.S. special forces since Mr. Trump took office in January, although this is fewer than the 80 assassinated in the last 6 months of Mr. Obama's presidency.
You gotta pump up those numbers. Those are rookie numbers.
Pretty much. Airstrikes against the group have increased in recent months, rising from an average 440 a month in the 6 months of 2016 now...
I mean, that's kind of crazy.
To just 800 a month.
They dropped like 300... They dropped like 15 like missile strikes a day. Or in this case, now freaking 30 missile strikes a day plus. That's insane.
Yeah. Their country is basically like Europe was after World War II. Fucked. Up destination fucked.
Although, UK had money.
Mr. Trump hasn't, so far, it's all sand anyway. The ground will fix itself. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Sand to sand.
So shall they all return. Anyway, Mr. Trump has so far made few changes to the U.S.'s anti-ISIS strategy, but has repeatedly promised to publish a new and comprehensive plan for defeating the organization. We're gonna kill him, and we're gonna win! Probably. Yep. During the presidential campaign, he claimed he had an absolute way of defeating ISIS, but refused to say what it was. Well, yeah, because it's a fucking dumbass. He doesn't know anything, other than probably kill them all. I don't want the enemy to know what I'm doing, he said in 2015. Unfortunately, I'll probably have to tell at some point, but there is a method for defeating them quickly and effectively and having total victory. Really, he's just going to hold it and be like, and then it's going to happen. It's going to be like, I did that with my plan. Meanwhile, he actually did nothing. He later said his plan was to ask U.S. military generals to come up with a plan.
His plan was to ask the generals who already had a plan to make a plan.
Yep. I'm going to convene my top generals and give them a simple instruction, he said. They will have 30 days to submit the Oval Office plan for soundly and quickly defeating ISIS. In May, the U.S. president said he would hold a press conference in 2 weeks to lay out the his ISIS plan. 2 weeks later, he said it would be further 2 weeks. Now, over 6 years later, reports suggest the delays in part because Mr. Trump is determined to differentiate himself from Mr. Obama and wants to make certain that his plans are different enough. The main change implemented by Republican to date involved delegating responsibility for authorizing airstrikes and special forces missions. Whereas Mr. Obama had been directly involved in signing off on operations, Mr. Trump has handed much of the responsibility to his defense secretary, Jim Mattis. Mr. Mattis has in turn given more authority to military commanders. Mr. Trump has also wrapped up operations against ISIS and its affiliates in Afghanistan, Yemen, and Somalia. Basically, he gave it to Mattis, and he's like, he basically turned the attack dog loose, which is cool. I mean, that's why they pumped up. To be fair, I mean, I kind of am on board with Mattis's idea of just going full ham. We have so much stuff stockpiled that even though we're technically burning through probably millions of dollars a day fighting it, it doesn't really matter.
I mean, a single missile can cost $2 million plus, and considering we're doing 20 to 30 strikes a day, that's spending hundreds of millions of dollars a week. I mean,
technically it was already built forever ago, so
they're actively buying more, so it's costing billions.
Yeah, but they're buying more, and they would continue, even if we weren't fighting this war, they would still buy more and then not use them.
It also shows how Trump thinks.
Trump doesn't think. We already knew this.
Obama, whenever he was signing off on the operation, he was directly involved. He actually cared to at least put a modicum of effort in.
Basically had the lives of the enemies and the allies in his hands. And he understood
Trump's just like, I don't have time for that. I don't care.
Trump's like, General, you're a general. Deal with it. And the general's like, cool. It's like those fucking movies. Every time there's a president and he's like, General, and the general's like, I say we nuke him. Every time there's pull out the red button, the case of the red button, they're like, nukes. Nuclear option. Always. Those kind of people. That's Jim Mattis.
The football.
Huh? The football. Yeah.
It travels everywhere with the president. I still don't understand how the football works. I would like to.
You're not meant to know. And before it's got the quantum linkage technology before everybody.
Quantum entanglement.
Dude, there's the old theory that fucking a lot of the Pentagon has technology years ahead of other people. It's probably true.
Well, the general theory is that the military has technology about 5 to 10 years ahead of civilians.
Yeah, which is true.
Which makes sense considering they fund a lot of advanced technology.
Yeah. And the Pentagon, the theory behind that is the Pentagon has even more than that. Because they're the center of it.
DARPA and everything else.
Yeah, I know. I wish I was an MIT DARPA kid. DARPA. I'd have my giant robot built by now. That's where a lot of those people come from. They build robots. Let me build mine. Let me build it 10 feet higher. Oh, I can get Trump to sign off on that shit. Yes! Mr. Trump, we don't need a wall. With this, you become a walking wall. It can traverse all border terrain. It can administrate freedom from 1.5 miles away. You laugh because you know how easy that would be.
He would just be like, that's great, sign here. There we go. Give that man billions of dollars. You see defense contractors, they're building the fucking new jet. It's going to cost a couple trillion. Still all new shit.
Are you talking about the Lightning that they've been working on for the last 20? No, they've been working for a long fucking... The F-22 Raptor came out a long time ago, dude. They've been working on the F-35 since then.
I love this good marketing here. It's a dispensary, and there's a food truck right outside of it. It's solid. They got that food truck a good game.
Dude, they probably are like, food truck, you gonna share with us when we get the munchies too? I'd enhance this. So, look at that stoner right there. The dude with the hippie shirt with the very long hair. There you go, right there.
I just need it. Well, give me a tie-dye shirt. I think I got that down.
No, yours not. Your ponytail's not that long. That's midway through his head.
It was at one point.
You good nerd. Maybe if you straighten your hair.
I mean, it does go pretty long. First days of recreational marijuana sales generate about 500,000 in taxes.
This is like the same stories that happened when Colorado did it. Everybody knew this was what was going to happen. It happened in Colorado. It's going to happen everywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas, hint, hint, get on board.
I mean,
except you don't know what to do with the money.
No, you don't.
You're gonna spend it on hookers and blow, probably.
Yeah, probably. The first 4 days of legal recreational marijuana sales generated $3 million in sales revenue and about $500,000 in tax revenue, putting Nevada on pace to achieve an estimated...
Hold on, what is that tax rate? Kenneth, math that.
It says it. It's about 30 to 40%, I think. 38%.
Jesus, fuck, that's a high tax.
And the taxes are fucking ridiculous, but it's making money. Still.
Everyone's like, I can get high. And it's legal. Woo!
I mean, I would.
But
if it was legal in Texas and there was a dispensary, I'd be like...
Isn't Trump, like, not on board with that? Well, the federal government is still Schedule 1.
His Attorney General is, like, vehemently against marijuana. He does crackdowns on legal freaking dispensaries in, like, Colorado and shit.
That's weird.
He doesn't like it. He's like super anti-weed. He's like weed is for hippies, the poor, or something. Like
weed is for the Satanists. It's the devil's lettuce.
It's like bad people smoke.
Again, it's the devil's lettuce.
Yeah, it's pretty
when you smoke it, you hear a voice that says, "Do it."
So it's putting Nevada on pace to achieve an estimated $30 million in sales revenue over the next 6 months of recreational sales, according to the Nevada Dispensary Association.
There's already a dispensary association.
It has to be.
That doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't have to be, but I mean, they probably set one up.
That's hilarious. There are a bunch of people like, dude, we're all dispensaries. Let's like make an association.
Well, I think this is the government saying that.
The government.
But I mean, just imagine. That means in a given year, Nevada will rake in $60 million in taxes. Sales figures, which generated from Saturday's first day, the first day of recreational marijuana sales. The tax rate for recreational pot is 33 to 38%. Depending on local regulations, with all state and local taxes included. We had a higher demand than everybody initially thought.
Higher? 420? Anyway.
The Dispensary Association Director, Rihanna Durrett. It shows this market really exists. Well, of course it exists.
Of course it exists.
Have you seen California? Thousands of marijuana shoppers took to dispensaries over the weekend, forming lines as long as 3 hours for the chance to legally purchase the plant. Nevada passed the ballot question 2 in November, legalizing the use and possession of up to 1 ounce of marijuana flower or up to 1/8 ounce of concentrates. Legislation allowing for sales of the plant at medicinally licensed dispensaries was finalized in late May. So it didn't even take that long. It was finalized in late May, and then by July, legal weed.
Yep.
Nevada was one of 4 states to legalize recreational use of the plant in November's election. In addition, the 4 other states allow recreational pot sales, including Washington, Colorado, and I'm not sure who else. The name escapes me.
Washington, Colorado, and obviously Nevada, and yeah, I don't remember. I don't know who the 4th one is.
I think California tried to pass it, but it was rejected.
Something like that.
It's kind of weird because they already do medical marijuana.
They also already have dispensary machines and shit. I hear so many stories of people just getting weed anyway. So I don't know. You gonna Google it?
I'm gonna Google it.
Search Google.
Several states just legalized recreational marijuana. Who were the states? Oh. So 4 states. So another 4 states. So it was already. I guess it was already legal in Colorado and Washington, but another 4 states, including. So California did actually. California, Nevada, Maine, and Massachusetts.
Maine and Massachusetts. Nobody knows about Maine. Nobody goes to Maine.
No, Maine is like the fucking northernmost part of the country, continental United States.
Yeah. Nobody knows about Maine.
And Massachusetts is like one of the smallest countries, smallest next to Rhode Island states.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Pretoria in Rhode Island.
Sounds like I'm going to a family reunion.
And where?
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
But it has family up in there. That's where like the Portuguese source they're in Massachusetts for some reason.
That's just where they. For some reason, that's
where
where
they
their
ended
boat
up.
ended up? Question mark.
No, they went through the Salem. And all that jazz back when it was going, and through New York itself, because New York is like one of the. Because it's like New York is like one of the few like immigration places.
Yeah, but you guys are Portuguese. Wouldn't you come from the south?
No.
You come from
Portugal. No, because if you look at Portugal on a map, like if you want to bring up like Google Maps really quick, you can see.
Don't care enough. Fuck you.
Bring it up.
Portugal. Did you just type in Portugal?
No, I'm just gonna zoom out.
De-enhance.
So you see, Portugal, if you do like a straight line, you pretty much end up in like freaking New York.
Suppose that's true.
Like they're relatively far north. I mean, I can draw a line from Portugal.
Go for it. What's it? What? You didn't draw a line? You drew a line to north, New York.
Oops, curvature of the Earth.
You also drew a really curvy line.
Curvature of the Earth.
The Earth's not a globe, it's flat.
So yeah, 3,000 kilometers.
What happens if you do it to... Where's Massachusetts at?
Enhance. Right there. So,
Yeah,
from New York to Massachusetts, not that far.
No, I totally just went into Massachusetts, man. Oh, you're just fucking up.
There you go.
What are you making? Fucking something? I don't know.
Let's see. I'll do Google in cursive. Across the Atlantic.
Somebody was like, "Hurt there!" in the middle of the Atlantic, basically. Alright, I'm gonna carry on while he fucks around.
You do that.
Trump's disapproval rating near 60% in new polls. Not surprising.
There we go.
Did I change it to US News? No, I did not. I gotta fix that. Oops,
And that's 12,000 miles of Google.
Did you say it's 12,000 miles of Google?
Yep.
It's
Or round trip, 13,000 miles. I would just love to see a plane just try and fly this. Just be like, woo, 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 woo. And
whoop, 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 whoop. Nearly 3 in 5 Americans disapprove of the job Donald Trump is doing as president, according to new survey data.
in a surprise to nobody, nobody likes Trump.
57% of Americans in a Reuters Ipsos poll published Wednesday said they disapprove of the president's job performance, while only 38% say they approve. A Gallup poll released Tuesday reported similar findings. 57% of Americans gave Mr. Trump the thumbs down, while 37% gave him the thumbs up. The president's numbers are slightly better, but still underwater in an Economist YouGov survey released Wednesday and a poll. Mr. Trump's disapproval rating stood at 53%, while his approval rating was 41%, which is not too bad. For comparison's sake, the latest CBS News poll released last month found that 57% of Americans disapprove of the job Mr. Trump is doing as president, while 36% approve. I guess other percentages don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Welcome to my people. The Economist poll also examined how Americans are responding to the president's prolific and often controversial use of social media. 52% of Americans polled said that the president's tweets since taking office have been mostly negative, while only 13% say they've been mostly positive. 13% described them as mostly neutral, and 22% weren't sure. Respondents were particularly critical of the tweets Mr. Trump sent last week, insulting the intellect and appearance of MSNBC journalist Mika Brzezinski. Only 18% of Americans said that outburst from Mr. Trump was appropriate, while 69% said it was inappropriate.
Rob Schneider.
The Reuters poll survey, this is just information I don't really care about.
So yeah, everybody hates Trump.
Everybody hates Trump.
Everybody hates Trump tonight.
Everybody hates Trump tonight.
So, this directly relates to us.
Does it relate
And
to
apparently, is that a South Korean flag?
North.
That is North Korea?
Yeah, that's North. I think. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it's
that is
North.
Yeah.
South Korea's is the white one with the weird, equal sign things and red and blue. In the middle.
70% of millennials believe U.S. student loan debt poses bigger threat to the U.S. than North Korea. I'm on board with that.
Amen, America!
Although this person could be biased considering it's lendedu.com, which I assume is a...
It says Shop Tutors Incorporated who owns this. Yeah. HTTPS certificate right here.
This year may be different, but 2017 presents many of the same vexing issues both at home and abroad, that have plagued the United States for years. War in the Middle East rages on. The Washington, D.C., and the entire country, for that matter remains fiercely divided along party lines, and for every threat that is quelled, it seems 3 more rise. One of the most under-talked problems in the United States right now is the student loan crisis. According to Lend.edu, 43.3 million borrowers in the United States collectively hold an outstanding debt of $1.4 trillion. 60% of Americans graduate to college with student loan debt. On average, each borrower owes $28,400.
That's gross, but very true.
In average, the default rate of the federal student loan debt sits at 11%. You're a statistic man.
I'm part of that statistic, at least. No, actually not anymore.
No, but you were.
I was, yeah.
All things being said, $1.4 trillion in outstanding student loan debt is still ways off from the $10.6 trillion in mortgage debt during the peak of the Great Recession. However, student debt in the U.S. is now the second largest class of debt above credit card debt.
Wow.
Lend.edu wanted to see how millennials, the largest living generation in the world, start student loan debt crisis in the U.S. stacked up against other serious threats to the country that the country will be dealing with in the coming years. Lend.edu commissioned a poll that asked 515 millennials with student debt the following: what is a bigger problem facing the United States? Global warming or the $1.4 trillion student loan crisis? Global warming wins.
Barely.
But at least they recognize global warming as a big crisis.
Yeah.
Millennials were split down the
Wow,
middle.
hold on, that margin of error, plus or minus 4.3%.
That's actually within the margin of error.
That's actually what?
The results are within the margin of error.
Oh, are they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It says millennials were split down the middle in terms of deciding if global warming or the student loan crisis is the biggest problem facing the U.S. 250 millennials, or 48.5%, think the student loan crisis is more serious. The remaining 265, or 51.5%, believe global warming is the bigger threat. Considering millennials' thoughts on global warming, this poll produced some mildly surprising results. In a poll conducted by the University of Texas at Austin, UT.
Hey, UT. Hire us.
Hire us. In the fall of 2016, 91. There are 2 jobs open. Hire us.
Seriously. There's more than that. Hire us. We applied to all of them.
Hire us. 91% of millennials believe climate change is occurring, the highest percentage ever. But there's 9%.
Well, yeah, it is occurring.
Yes.
Good job, people.
And for reference, 70% of seniors aged 65 and older said climate change is occurring.
And congratulations, old people, for understanding climate change is a thing.
The other 25% are in Congress.
Ha! You're not wrong.
Millennials represent the generation that most staunchly believes in global warming, and this will be the demographic that will lead the fight against climate change in the coming years. The fact that virtually half of them believe that the student loan crisis is more serious a threat to the United States than global warming, which may wipe out entire cities, which is true. In the next 100 years, it is estimated that the sea levels will rise, I think, about 10 to 15 feet, which will then put many coastal cities underwater. Like the city we live in is pretty much just a hair above sea level.
Yeah, no, our city will be fine. So there's this game I used to play on PS2. It's a game where you're a sub. You play as a sub. You upgrade and stuff. Really good game. I think it was Sub Rebellion. It's a really good game. But anyway, yeah, it had basically the same premise. Global warming made everything float. That's why people took to submarines and underwater cities and shit. And then, you're just a submarine crafted and stuff. And, the Texas coast, which is where we live. I looked on the map and was like, squint. Oh, look, I think Bay City's okay. But basically, it did the same thing. It was a map prediction from a video game about what would happen with global warming.
Yeah, Bay City's about 20 feet, I think, on the sea level.
Yeah, no, we're fine from the coast. We're actually I think we're too far. Because even whenever hurricanes dump 30-foot tall waves, which would, in theory, is supposed to hit us inland, it doesn't.
Yep. I'm going to check that while you cover the next story.
Roger.
I'm just going to continue with the story. The fact that virtually blah 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 blah, etc. So, there's the following question: what's the bigger problem facing the United States? North Korea or the student loan crisis?
Everyone realizes that North Korea is a fucking joke.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Again, everybody. Congratulations.
Yep.
Congratulations. You've won.
They think so the results. 69.7% think the student loan debt's a bigger threat than North Korea.
69.7.
Or the other 30.3% believe North Korea poses a bigger threat. Excuse me. One could make a strong argument that North Korea presents the greatest international threat to the United States. At this point, many foreign policy experts believe it's a case of when, and not if, North Korea develops a long-range nuclear missile that could reach the United States mainlands. That being said, more than 2 times the amount of millennials still believe the student loan crisis poses a bigger threat to the US than the rogue regime of North Korea. That estimate is just how serious this nation's student loan debt crisis is. Anyway, so that's all the methodology. I'm done with that.
Alright, cool. Don't care. Alright. Sanders to host red state rallies opposing GOP healthcare bill. Senator Bernie Sanders announced plans to host rallies in 2 red states this weekend as he continues his push against Senate Republicans' bill to repeal and replace Obamacare, or also known as the Affordable Care Act. Sanders said at a press release Wednesday that he would hold Care Not Cut rallies in Kentucky and West Virginia. Kentucky? The way I said it, exactly. This Sunday. In his release, Sanders said Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican for Kentucky, would hurt his own state with his party's health care plan. McConnell's legislation, which would throw 22 million Americans off of health insurance, would be a disaster for the country and an even worse disaster for the people of Kentucky, Sanders said. Under the Affordable Care Act, Kentucky has made significant progress in lowering the number of its uninsured people. Further, the expansion of Medicaid. There has been. Hold on, make sure I'm reading this right. Further, the expansion of Medicaid. There has been a significant help in the. God damn it, the English. In the fight against the opioid epidemic, which has ravaged Kentucky. This English here fucked me up so bad.
Further, the expansion of Medicaid. There has been a significant help in the fight against the opioid epidemic, which is.
Yeah, it says further, the expansion of Medicaid. There has been, and then there's no
commas.
Yeah, my brain's just Anyway, Sanders hosted similar rallies last month for a MoveOn.org bus tour. Those rallies were in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia. The self-declared Democratic Socialist has long pushed for more progressive healthcare options and has lately been an outspoken critic of both the House and Senate's proposal to repeal and replace Obamacare. So what were you looking up anyway again?
The coast that could be underwater, based upon predictions.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Here's Houston.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably about the closest we're going to be able to get, I think.
Probably.
So, yeah. So if you look at Houston, apparently the Space Center is going to be underwater.
Good thing they have spacecrafts. Teehee.
So I think they're saying so.
I mean, it'll be a slow, gradual thing. It's not going to be instantaneous.
Yeah, but they're saying within the next 100 years, Galveston will be flooded.
Huh.
Mostly.
Interesting.
By 2300, which I think this maybe have some outdated information, because current estimates, let's see.
Ooh, this one's a nice story. I like this one.
No, yeah, that's super interesting. Let's see. So the double cylinder rice production because of Antarctica. Yeah, it says right here that by the end of the century, it says it could increase in total by more than 6 feet by the end of the century, and in 500 years by more than 50 feet plus.
We won't be alive, so it's not a big deal.
No, but it's just kind of crazy because in 300 years without anything done, Galveston's gone.
Again, we'll be dead. So it doesn't
25,
matter.
I mean, in like 2500. I mean, Jacksonville, Florida, gone. Galveston, completely gone. Long Beach, Huntington Beach, gone.
I think at that point, people won't care.
Partially gone. Miami, entirely gone. Mobile, Alabama.
You know where else is going to be gone? Fucking
New York City.
Yeah, New Orleans.
Partially gone. New Orleans, entirely gone.
Yeah, New Orleans is already gone.
Gone. Northern California, Sacramento, pretty much gone. San Francisco, partially gone. Let's see. San Diego. Actually, San Diego fares all right. So does Providence. Portland, Oregon. Like coastals, like blocks, gone. Savannah, Georgia, gone. Seattle.
Well, Savannah, that's where those bros are at. They all live near Savannah.
Savannah, they're going to be gone. Tampa, mostly gone. Washington, not really that gone. Virginia Beach, gone. I mean, all these cities will just be destroyed. Charleston, South Carolina, gone. Boston, partially gone. Cambridge, flooded. So basically, in Fallout, half that city should be flooded.
Which city?
Or Fallout, because Fallout takes place in like, what, 22 something? About 200 years. So, Boston should be like a quarter of the way flooded.
Yeah, but, I mean, this is like old nuke things. This is like nukes just going to happen all of a sudden, so there wasn't enough.
I suppose so.
There wasn't enough people alive.
But I mean, I don't know whether this takes into account
Nuclear winter? Because it probably doesn't.
nuclear winter. I don't think there was nuclear winter in Fallout.
Nuclear winter would happen, though. With as many bombs that went out from Fallout? Definitely. It would fuck the entire climate of the
Anyways,
Earth.
that's enough of that. Let's go to Hawaii.
What was that? Was that Discord? Was that the CNN thing? Or oh, that was that one of the stories coming up?
Was it? Oh. Yeah, the last one.
Yeah.
Hawaii just became the first U.S. state to support a universal basic income. So actually, this is really interesting if this goes through. Hawaii made waves in June when it passed the first piece of
They made
legislation
waves. Haha. Good see joke.
aimed at exploring a niche but growing form of wealth distribution. The bill HCR 89 directs the government to convene a basic economic security working group, a request that can be seen as a first tangible step towards the U.S. basic income program. People who receive the basic income get a fixed amount of money that they can use however they want. Early research has shown that people typically don't spend this money on vices or vacation. Instead, they use it to pay for things like home repairs, school expenses, and costs of starting new businesses. Few U.S. politicians have mentioned or pursued policies related to basic income. But thanks to Chris Lee, the Democratic representative who proposed Hawaii's measure, the state could become the first to run a government-sponsored basic income experiment in the U.S. soil. This is actually probably one of the first in the world. I don't really know many other countries that do universal basic income.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something brilliant to see, because it's going to happen. Lee says basic income is one of the few approaches he'll pursue to ensure all Hawaiians have economic security, particularly as automation threatens jobs in the state's service-based economy. I think it's pretty clear that we'll have the ability to reduce costs for everyone and keep everyone out of poverty, improve quality of life more cheaply than it would be to let our current existing social safety net be overwhelmed by the changes we're seeing in our economy. See, that's a legitimate, well-thought-out idea. And it's going to happen. Automation will kill jobs. All the jobs. Eventually. Many jobs. And especially with the rise of freaking, autonomous vehicles that will drive themselves. I mean, it's happening, people, right now.
The rise of machine learning. I mean, the
America
age of Skynet is upon us. Repent now, for the Terminators are nigh.
I mean, America is already a primarily service-based economy. Nobody manufactures things. Manufacturing is a relatively small percentage of what America does. And when those service jobs go away,
It's because it's cheaper to manufacture.
won't be jobs for those people. So they're going to have tens of millions of Americans out of work. And then what do? Do you put them all on the social safety net and let them overwhelm it and destroy it?
You let them die.
Or do you generate a basic income so those people can survive? Or the safety net
Or you can let them die.
For the fallen.
Or you could put them into a new battlegrounds program. You could put them in a new battlegrounds program over somewhere in the middle of the United States where nobody fucking lives, and watch them duke it out for the right to live the rest of their lives. I'm all for battlegrounds. You have my vote, battlegrounds.
As a disclaimer, any comments or such spoken by the host are not affiliated with the show or with my beliefs and such.
Kenneth likes penis 69.
Again, the disclaimer holds.
Same with him.
Let's see. First, hearing about basic income on Reddit some years ago.
Fucking Reddit.
Reddit should just take all the credit for this. Come on, Reddit. Lee said he became intrigued by the idea of paying people a salary just for being alive. He especially thought that the idea of the context of the shifting American...
So wait, hold on. This politician peruses the Reddits?
Apparently so.
Interesting.
Pursuing hard work enough to make a decent living no longer applies in an economy in which automation and innovation have taken that away from so many people. Correct. The new measure will call on Hawaiian researchers to gather data on different forms of social security benefits, including the Earned Income Tax Credit, which functions as a tax refund for poor, working families. If the data comes back in favor of trialing basic income, Lee said the state could look into a proper study. Lee, like many tech-minded economists around the world, doesn't think time is on the side of working people. A 2013 Oxford report, for instance, found that robots could replace 50% of all jobs somewhere around the mid-2020s. Goddamn. Just think of that. In a decade, could replace 50% of jobs. Just a single decade. That puts out tens of millions to hundreds of millions of people around the world. Around the world.
Around the world. Around the world.
Out of work.
Out of work.
Which, at that point, when you have literally a generation of people no longer able to work, and your country's social services under duress, trying to support hundreds of millions of people, it just won't work. Basic income will probably be one of the few things that will be there and function to save us.
But where does the money come from, Kenneth? How is it going to work?
Taxes.
But how taxes, Kenneth?
Taxes.
What are you going to do? You're going to tax
corporations. Because that's the thing.
What are you
No, that's the thing. When you have people who aren't working because they can't work, because the jobs no longer exist, that reduces costs on companies. Because the companies no longer have to pay people.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing you don't understand.
The people will spend their money at these companies, at these corporations, because they no longer have a choice.
I get that. But you don't understand people's love of money.
That doesn't matter.
The companies are going to move to automation not only because it's cheaper, but because they want more money.
Exactly.
They don't care about the people.
You have to raise the taxes on them to create a program.
Yes, and then the other people that like the money will give them the money, aka the politicians, and it won't get done. It won't get done. Not for a while.
In America, it's either going to be a fucking civil war.
You know I'm leaning towards that, but yeah.
When you have, consider, if 50% of American jobs were replaced by robots by 2020, by mid-2020, if you look at the working populace, that's probably about, I'd say, 200 million people.
Sure. How many people do we have in the United States total?
330.
I'm
going to go with 150 working million people.
There you go. That's
so 75 million people, literally 12 to 20% of the American population, suddenly no longer has a job. And then the social safety nets that were in place for generations
fucking explode violently.
Will be destroyed.
It'll be another recession.
No, it'll be worse than
or depression. Yeah, it'll be another depression.
So when you have literally 12%, 20% of the country out of work, and all those people get together, what the fuck do you think is going to happen? They will rise up and demand a result. And if the government doesn't do anything, they'll overthrow the goddamn government. So this is me saying that, and I don't like that.
And I'm just like, you're speaking my language now, boy.
So this is going to happen sooner rather than later.
Something decent's going to have to happen. Either basic, whatever income, or better minimum wage for even shitty people.
But that's the thing. Minimum wage won't matter when there's not the jobs there.
I don't think...
When 20 million jobs no longer
so I'm
exist.
of the mind that robots are good, but I'm of the mind that there's also certain skills and certain things that robots can't do, no matter how good you train the robot, that a person can sometimes outperform a robot. I mean, this is, the manufacturing techniques. This is for, super hardcore trade skills like blacksmithing or something like that.
I don't know. I imagine a robot can do blacksmithing.
No, they can, but there's a certain point where if you take out the human element, you lose on the ability to feel the sword. Just things like that.
The sword. Who the fuck is manufacturing swords?
Blacksmiths. This only comes up because I saw a really interesting article thing on Facebook the other day about this people are calling it almost magical sword from China. It's 2,500 years old, has no rust, and has fucking completely still sharp edges. And I was like, that's because craftsmanship. And they're like, this craftsmanship's ridiculous because we can't, reproduce it type stuff. And it's like, well, there's just certain times and certain things people make things. But yeah, I'm sure you could if you studied the living dog shit out of it.
It would be difficult to do with a spectral analysis on it to see what the hell it's made out of.
Well, they did because that's how they had to figure out how old it was. There's also inscriptions on it that say it was X emperor of this time period or whatever.
Yeah, so they got it to around the time.
Yeah, but I mean, still,
unless it was a fake.
Unless it was a fake, I guess.
So, literally, I think basic income would probably be one of the only ways.
I don't know. I just can't understand people getting paid to just exist. Well, I mean, I think it's a cool idea. But I just don't understand.
To survive, because that's the thing. It's like if you're on welfare, you get shit or food stamps or WIC. Except instead of getting those programs, you're just getting the money that probably would have gone to those programs. So it still happens, but it's no longer the social safety net imploding on itself. Mm-hmm. It's the government just redistributing how that money goes to people.
Yeah. Well, the other problem in this equation is that the way the money is distributed in the government is kind of wrong. The budget would have to be changed.
Well, yeah, of course it has to be. This is a radical idea.
Yeah.
Based on.
But I mean, still, it's hard. I think it would take economists a long time to figure this one out.
I mean, they have a decade. Get on it.
Pretty much. I don't honestly think everything's going to go to automation by 2020.
I would say definitely, for sure. And I'm going to say this. I'm
going to say we're still going to have jobs because no robots can replace us.
By 2050, the service industry will be robots. Nobody can replace us.
I was going to say that. Well, yeah.
Because of the specific industry we work in.
The only thing that can replace us is button pushing robots, but we're going to be the people that fix robots. We don't have to lose our jobs. Yeah, nerds.
We're in the tech industry, so we'll never lose our job.
Pretty much.
Even in the
and we also
industry,
do hardware, software stuff. So I mean, yeah.
Medical industry, that will probably stick around past robots.
Yeah, I mean, robots will exist to assist.
Robots will assist doctors, but robots can do.
Yeah.
I mean, probably minor things they can do. You got a gash. They could probably robot stitch the shit.
Yeah. Also, welding. Welding will never go away. I mean, they have robots that do welding in plants, but see, this is where I talk about the limitation of robots. They can only be designed to perform so many tasks. For the auto industry, there's only you have to have a robot that welds this way, and you have a robot that welds this way to make it streamlined, make it faster. But you can only have you can only have them do one task repeatedly before it fucks up. That also, there's going to be people that have to work on the robots, kind of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but it's not going to be as many people as there were working the same jobs.
So, like I said, literally, I could see this easy prediction. 2050, service industry in the world will be dead.
Yeah, I mean, there's already a lot of places moving over to kiosk system. Shit, our fucking
Walmart.
No, well, not just Walmart. Our fucking Jack in the Box. Have you ever been Jack in the Box since within the last 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
There's a fucking cashier kiosk machine over there. Yeah, obviously you haven't been within the last 3 years. It's been there for a while. But nobody goes to Jack in the Box unless you're just going for stoner tacos in the middle of the night. Come on now. Mm-hmm. But still, yeah, no, there's been a kiosk in there for a long time.
If you look at Walmart, they've eliminated most of a lot of their staff by just getting self-checkout.
Our Walmart hasn't.
Oh, well, they have the self-checkout.
Yeah, but they barely
4 or 5 jobs.
Do you want to know the reason why we didn't have a self-checkout before? Crime rate. Legit. What I heard from our Walmart staff plus other people and other things.
If people want to steal, it's not that hard. It's Walmart.
This is, I'm going to tell you the secret to stealing from Walmart. You walk out the door, they tell you to stop, you keep moving, they can't do anything. However, they can get your face on camera, but I still don't think I don't know what they do most of the time.
They capture your license plate and give it to the police or something.
No.
I'll see what they could.
Ours can't.
Why not?
Cameras suck. Like,
No,
they're...
I mean, they could just walk out and follow you and see what car you get into.
No, they're not allowed to do anything after you leave the building.
I mean, you're still on the property.
They're not allowed to, it's Walmart policy, you're not allowed to do anything, somebody outside the building. I mean, you're not allowed to tackle anybody,
So
you're not allowed to do anything.
Park really far away.
Or just, I mean, they can look out at your car and be like, who's in that car? That's about it. But I mean, like, they can't follow you any further. There's special people who can follow you that I think are allowed to tackle you.
Well, yeah, those are lost permission people.
Yeah, they're not allowed to attack you, they're just allowed to go, hey, you need to put that back. Yeah, no one's allowed to touch anybody. That's funny. There was actually there's people that fought at Walmart. This is in our town. This is hilarious. It's a hilarious fight to watch. And the person lost their job. However, they were off the clock and they still lost their job, which I thought was kind of bullshit. Yeah. Anyway,
so we're on the clock. We're filling it right now. Surely we'll be filling it significantly more so in the future.
Yeah, we're on the clock too, technically, or not.
Oh no, the clock is broken.
The clock is broken. Yes.
HCR 89 follows a number of other social forward measures enacted in Hawaii. The state granted women legal abortions in 70, predating Roe v. Wade. In 92, they became the first state to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment. In 74, they became the first mandated employer-sponsored health care with Hawaii Prepaid Health Care Act. Wow.
Wow, so Hawaii's actually
Hawaii's
bastion
leading the charge on social causes.
I'm
the good ones.
Yeah, I know. Good job, Hawaii.
I think we have a long history of taking actions because it benefits everybody here. And I hope we have an opportunity to try out some of these new options that have never been tried before because the benefit can be enormous. But just imagine if it worked in Hawaii and it rolled out to the country. I mean, it'd be amazing.
Miami-Dade new immigration policy snags U.S. citizen. Boop, 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 boop. And Hans, this dude looks pretty American and white to me. Garland Creedle, 18, was detained by Miami-Dade County at the request of federal immigration officials, even though he is a U.S. citizen, according to a lawsuit filed by the ACLU of Florida. The American Civil Liberties Union of Florida is suing Miami-Dade County and Mayor Carlos Gimenez, not even Jimenez, Gimenez, for complying with a federal request to detain inmates who are in the country illegally. The lawsuit is seeking to overturn the country's new policy after an 18-year-old U.S. citizen who cannot be deported was detained. Garland Creedle was arrested after an alleged domestic dispute in March. According to the ACLU lawsuit, after he was fingerprinted in jail, Miami-Dade County Corrections received a request to hold him because he was believed to be in the country illegally. The lawsuit says that immigration officials got it wrong. Creedle is a U.S. citizen and should have been allowed to be released on bond. Instead, he spent a night in the county jail and, after an interview with an official from the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, he was released. The ACLU maintains that he should have never been detained on the immigration hold in the first place. Miami-Dade Mayor Carlos Gimenez declined to comment. Well, yeah, I mean, they're kind of right. He should have never been detained in the first place. Also, you just do your government agency. Go hop on your fucking computer and check it out.
Like,
done.
You know, the Human Health and Statistics or whatever. They can just like, yeah, he exists in our records.
I mean, you can't enhance, but you can easily do that.
We're going to skip that because we already covered that.
Oh, yeah. The Reddit using. Alright, I'm going to let you fucking do this. Let me enhance a little bit for you.
Reddit.
I'm not going to play the video, though. Alright, so, hold on. The Reddit user behind Trump's CNN meme apologized, but hashtag CNN blackmail is the story taking hold.
Roll the video.
I wasn't going to tip off, whatever.
Oh my God, what's going to happen?
The president tweeted a meme a few days ago that came from a poster on a Reddit message board that's really, really popular with Trump supporters. There was a lot of speculation about where it came from and how the president first saw it, and that eventually led to this one anonymous Reddit user. He had a pretty offensive posting history. This user posted an apology. CNN said that they had identified who he was, had reached out to talk to him, And they posted a big article about how they had gone about identifying him. And there were a couple lines in the piece that really made people mad. One of them was the way in which they described their decision not to identify this person in their piece. The insinuation that people got from this, which CNN has said was not what they intended, was that they were holding his identification off the internet on the condition that he stops posting offensive things on the internet. Trump supporters felt that this was an attempt at, and they used the word blackmail, so that became a hashtag CNN blackmail.
The dishonest media did not explain that I called the fake news the enemy of the people.
This is a culture that's sort of formalized itself, I guess, during the campaign. It draws from some other internet subcultures that have been around for a while. So for instance, 4chan, the Reddit board where that GIF came from in the first place has been really important for kind of the development of memes that then spread around really quickly. And then a lot of that stuff ends up reaching a wider audience on Twitter, where maybe people who aren't as tapped into those like really fast subcultures might see some of these memes and, you know, questions and hashtags for the first time. The Trump internet, through a series of just having a tight network and, you know, the alleged use of bots, are really, really good at getting their message is amplified really, really quickly. So one of the things that kind of defines the Trump internet against mainstream culture, mainstream internet, is it sort of inverts a lot of power structures, or it would like to invert a lot of power structures. And they sort of, I guess, see themselves as a total rejection of the sort of authority that mainstream outlets have to construct a narrative. I think mainstream outlets would look at this and say, oh, this is a question about should we out racist trolls online and what are the ethics of doing that? And that's not the discussion that's happening among Trump supporters at all, because for them, this is evidence of something they believe is typical media practice. You know, this is sort of the calling the mainstream media fake news is part of this. They just don't believe that we have the intention of telling the truth. I don't know if there's, you know, a neat little lesson we can take from this particular instance. I think it's more to look as a whole at what's going on and what is driving these conflicts and who benefits from them.
CNN essentially tried to fuck over somebody for making a meme and threatened them and blackmail, extortion. They may have broken the law against doxing and blackmail extortion in New York, which are headquartered. They can be brought to charges. So yeah, CNN's a fucking idiot. CNN should have just left well enough alone. All they would have to do was just not say a damn thing, and not say a damn thing, and it would have gone away. My mic was off, but people should have taken it on your mic anyways.
What?
I said my mic was off.
What?
My mic is off. So
What?
oh god, this chair's terrible.
Your face is terrible. You don't see me bitching.
You.
I have to deal with this for the next 3 days? 3? Yeah, 3. I mean, technically I deal with you every day, so yeah. Yeah. Are you done with that? That's it? You're just going to roll the video?
Yeah.
So
Now to another nightmare story on board a United Airlines flight. This time the...
Anyway.
Yeah.
Ooh! I saw this video, or saw this chick, this thing. Did we talk? I thought we talked about this.
I don't
I don't know. Oh no! I saw this. This is fucking stupid. I thought we talked about this like off screen, like on Discord or something. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I saw this story somewhere. It's not a big deal. We continue.
Woman, 25, convicted for making a rape.
You good?
Fake rape claims against 15 innocent men. Look at her. She's a fucking whale.
God damn.
As like I sees it.
The brutality. That's fucking amazing.
She's British, stiff of her lip and all that.
There you go.
A British woman who repeatedly claimed being sexually assaulted and raped by 15 different men leading to one being wrongly imprisoned, is now facing jail time of her own after she was convicted Thursday of lying about her claims.
Well,
Gemma Beale, who was a determined liar, who repeatedly went to great lengths to fabricate evidence in an attempt to see innocent men convicted, including telling deliberate lies under oath. I wonder if she's a feminist.
I'm gonna go ahead and live here and say probably.
London Crown Prosecution Service lawyer Samuel Main said Beale was convicted of perjury and perverting the course of justice. From 2010 to 2013, Beale claims she was sexually assaulted by 6 men and raped by 9, all of them strangers, in 4 different encounters, prosecutors said. But it was later discovered that the 25-year-old had a steady boyfriend with whom she had a sexual relationship with, Main said. False allegations of sexual assault and rape are rare, but when made they are serious as they undermine the credibility of genuine victims and the efforts of the CPS and police to see perpetrators brought to justice. In one case, a man was imprisoned over the allegations. In another, the alleged attacker fled the country.
Damn.
And that's the thing. It's like fucking women. It's a listen, leave mentality. You know, they say they claim rape, and everybody fucking believes them. Nobody's like, maybe we should look for evidence first. They're just like, no, the men are instantly criminals in all cases. That's why when feminists complain, it's like, well, there's like 600 reported cases of rape, and then only like 1% or 2% of them get convicted. You wonder why? Evidence! If it actually happened, if you actually brought it through in a timely manner, there would be evidence. You know? And then you could prove it occurred, and then they would get convicted.
The problem with a lot of them, a lot of women that get raped, is by the time they get ready to go out and tell somebody, the evidence that they would have had is pretty much gone. Because, I mean, stuff like penetration and stuff like that.
I understand that. But they want their perpetrator brought to justice.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I'm just going to defend some people because I know some people with this problem. It's like a mental thing, you know, they can't go through with it. But then I know a bunch of people who have gone through with it and fucking seen people put to justice. And I tell some of the people that tell all these stories, is like, put these motherfuckers to justice. I was like, tell me who this person is. Show me a picture of them. If I find them, nobody will find them after I'm done.
Okay, vigilante justice. It's illegal.
Partially. Not in Texas, I don't think. Nobody will have to know. Nobody knows the person or where they live or their even their real name. Because apparently they use fake names and they continue to commit crimes everywhere. It's also wanted by police. I'll become a bounty hunter. There you go. That works. That's legal.
If there's a reward, you could just make some money.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
Or ruthlessly slaughter individuals. Either way.
I'll take the money.
Let's do both. Dead or alive, man. Bounty's the one dead or alive? Let's do this. Just go Wild West.
This is the Old West.
I want to live in the Old West. Don't make it. I could, you know what? I could go kill terrorists. Those are bounties dead. There you go.
But I mean, yeah, I can understand. Yes, getting raped is a very traumatic event.
Mm-hmm.
But the first response should be to go to the police, go to a hospital, and
you want to get checked for tons of things anyway.
Diseases and collect any evidence.
And also, pregnancy and stuff like that could record that.
Plan B and all that jazz.
Yep.
So, I mean, I have sympathy, but I have less sympathy.
Yeah. I mean, I know. As of Alright, that was a good brief pause. We're laughing about some funny shit. But yeah.
Alright. So, let's see. Beale's story fell apart after medical records, testimonies from witnesses, and CCTV footage showed she was lying. One false claim from 2012, Beale said she was attacked by 4 men in an alley with a piece of... Who the hell just carries around a piece of barbed wire? Just that premise, the opening line of that.
Woman, hey there, baby, I got some barbed wire in my pocket. I'm about to beat your ass. Like, no.
Just like, has she ever looked at barbed wire? Yeah, it's not exactly
I would laugh if she said
friendly.
razor wire. Because razor wire is even more deadly. But yeah. Barbed wire. The fuck?
The jurors were shown footage of her walking home alone and were told by prosecutors that the injuries were self-inflicted.
She fucking ran into a barbed wire fence? I was like, oh, fuck me, barbed wire. I mean, I don't know.
After Beale made another allegation in 2013, the police reviewed all of her previous claims and discovered a clear and sustained pattern of willful falsification. Beale is expected to be sentenced on August 24th. You know what she should get? The maximum for what the men would have gotten if they had actually raped her. So 15 times whatever the fuck the maximum is for rape.
Ouch. But I agree. I concur.
Because she ruined, or potentially had the possibility of ruining, 15 innocent people.
She ruined at least 2 people's lives, for
And
sure.
yes, at least 2 people's lives. One person who went to jail, the other one who fled the damn country.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore. But alright, carry on. Holy shit, I can barely read this.
Thankfully it's short.
Let's see. Yeah, it's reasonably short. Alright. Sheffitz rips House GOP. We're in July and we still can't point to a single thing we've done. Ha! True.
See, I love it when even like Republican congressmen are like, what the fuck are we doing?
No, it's always funny when Republicans like go out and they're just like, Trump's not doing shit. We're not doing shit. We're fucking useless. And it's
I'm
just
glad
like,
they realize it.
now that he's resigned from Congress, Jason Chaffetz, I assume that's how you say that. Chaffetz, whatever. Chauffeur, sure. is unloading on Republican congressional leadership for not living up to promises made to voters. Damn right. Chaffetz, Cockfitz said Republicans repealed Obamacare 50 times while he served as a congressman from Utah. But that was pretend.
I'm glad they understand that was doing nothing.
Now it's real, and we're not doing anything, he said. Republicans, their deal with America was, if you give us the House of Representatives, we can play defense. If you give us the Senate, we can play a little bit of offense. You give us the House and the Senate, and the presidency, and we can actually get things done, Chaffetz said Wednesday night on Fox News. And so here we are, 7 months into it, and they haven't even passed a bill yet. Chaffetz also revealed that before Trump became president, Republican leadership pledged to have an Obamacare repeal and replace bill on his desk by the time he was sworn in. I was the chairman, and we were told in November and December that, hey, we are going to front load the schedule into January, so that by the time the president is sworn in, and it is President Trump, he will have a bill sitting on his desk, Chaffetz said. And I can tell you that there has been a great deal of frustration in both House and Senate that there is not yet a bill, because it really feels like they haven't yet gotten together and figured out a plan. Because no, they haven't. It's just one side fucking pissing at each other. It's like, people are like, so how bad do we want to fuck over people? And like,
how many millions of Americans do we want to lose health insurance?
A lot of the older fucks that are like bought out by farm companies are like, all of them. And then everybody else, which is mostly Democrats, but also a good bit of Republicans are like, guys, that's fucked up. No, that's too much. We're not evil people. Or at least,
No,
I'm
they're
not.
evil.
You're evil. Basically. Not all the Republicans are. There's some decent Republicans.
It's just a matter of perspective.
Eh.
I mean,
We've been
everybody's
talking
terrible in Congress outside of Bernie Sanders.
I suppose so. I don't know if I can say that, but I suppose so. We have been talking about it for 7 years, and here we are turning the corner into July, and you can still point to a single thing that will entice, Chaffetz complained.
Unitas.
Huh?
Unitas.
Oh, Unitas. There we go. You can still point to a single thing Unitas. Well, doesn't make sense.
I think he meant to say you can't.
Yeah, or he did say you can't, and whatever. Chaffetz said Republicans have to get something passed by the August recess if they want to be able to meet their constituents and not have to hide from them. Or they'll just hide from them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, okay, that's it.
That's the thing. They could have had a plan 7 years ago. But they didn't.
Yeah. Houston, Texas. Hawaii News Now.
Yep. So, United Airline apologies after giving away toddler seat. I'll read it.
Okay.
It's short. Houston, Texas. A Hawaii teacher says she was forced to hold her 2-year-old. I don't know why they said 27-month-old.
Some people still count months for 2 years.
Really?
Yes, they do.
I'm just gonna say 2-year-old.
Dude, it's like, have you seen the movie where like somebody said like 48-month-old or whatever, and they're like, that's 4 years. Stop it. That was the thing.
Most people stop after like once you hit 2, that's when people stop, I think.
I would say like 12. Once you hit 12, you're a year old. They stop.
No, actually, it's still kind of like 18-month-olds.
Really? Well, then you said it stops after 2, so obviously it doesn't.
Well, no, 24 months is 2.
You said 1.
No,
I
I
know
said
2
2.
months. You said 2 months.
So I said 2, I meant to say 2 years.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck? After 2 months, they stop, and then they go to 18 months. Excuse me?
I'm gonna say most people like.
Can you run that by me one more fucking time? Yes.
So then people still kind of like, he's 18 months, 19 months. But nobody counts above 2, I don't think. But this news agency apparently does.
Some people count above 2.
It does its own thing too. Because
Age of 2, right there.
Mhm.
Age, whatever.
on her left,
That's how
For
it makes
3
it
and a half
sound
years.
worse or whatever.
Yeah, it
because
makes it
people
sound
are
worse.
like, it's a higher number. Grrr. And it's like,
Yeah, it makes it
no,
sound
that
worse.
doesn't make it worse.
after the United Airlines gave the toddler seat to a standby passenger. She says, Shirley
Yamushi.
Yes, whatever. Shirley says she bought the tickets for a teacher conference in Boston 3 months ago. Because children over the age of 2 are required to have their own seat, she purchased a ticket for her son, Tazel. Paying almost $1,000 each fucking ticket.
Nasty.
That's insane. The Capoe Middle School teacher says they were sitting on the plane in Houston when a flight attendant came to check on Tazel was present. Yamuchi said her son was clearly in his seat, but another passenger still showed up, claiming the seat was his. I told him that I bought both these tickets, and he tells me that he got his ticket on standby. He then proceeds to sit in the center. She says she told the flight attendant about the problem, but the woman just shrugged, said the flight was full, and walked away. I had to move my son onto my lap. He's 25 pounds. He's half my height. Goddamn, short woman. I was very uncomfortable. My left leg was smashed up against the wall. I lost feeling in my legs and left arm, she says. Yamuchi says she wanted to speak up, but was afraid of retaliation. I started to remember all those incidents with United on the news. The violence, teeth getting knocked out. I'm Asian. I'm scared and I felt uncomfortable. I didn't want those things to happen to me. Damn.
I mean, it's not an invalid point, so.
5 days after the flight, the airline is finally issuing an apology.
Better give that woman her money back.
Give her just some money back? Nah, she better get like some fucking year worth of free flights.
Settlement.
Something big. A spokesperson for the United says that because gate agents inaccurately scanned Taizel's boarding pass, the system showed him has not checked in, so his seat was released to another passenger. The company said we deeply apologize to Miss Yamuchi and her son for this experience. We are refunding her son's ticket and providing a travel voucher. We are also working with our gate staff to prevent this from happening again. Yamuchi says the incident makes her nervous about flying United again. I had bought both these tickets way in advance. Yes, we did the 2-hour check-in time before boarding. I had my receipts, I had my boarding pass. If this still happens. Yeah, that's the thing. It's you check in at the freaking, you can either check in the night before, you can check in at the airport, whenever you check your bags. That's where you do it. And then you get your boarding passes, and you scan the boarding passes in. And when I've been flying recently. I mean, the system is not fucking hard. For United to screw up a system so simple, and for somebody who did all the steps properly, just goes to the level of idiocy that United has going on. Which is hilarious, because I flew United
Did you have any problems? Did you see any people getting the shit beat out of them?
It was actually a fairly remote fight.
Should have yelled World Star and watched what happened. World Star.
Well, I was flying before all this shit went down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
No, actually, you flew after because you flew to New York.
I flew to New York because it was taking a break.
Yeah, that was after the first we got fucked up
Was it?
with that. I think. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe not. When was that?
April 9th.
Yeah, okay. So you flew before that.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I went in like March, because I remember it's March 5th to the 12th. So I flew like a month before this happened.
Yep. But, I mean, it was probably happening anyway.
I love how, like, they have like a whole, like Google has a whole card that describes all this, like, key information.
Yeah, that's good.
Summary: forcible passenger removal. Injuries, non-fatal. 1.
Alright, carrying on. Divorce, delay in for-profit college rules bring lawsuits from 18 states and DC. The rules aim to make schools financially responsible for fraud and forbid them from forcing their students to resolve complaints outside of court. Ooh. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Democratic attorneys general in 18 states and the District of Columbia are suing Education Secretary Betsy DeVos over her decision to suspend rules meant to protect students from abuse by for-profit colleges. The lawsuit was filed Thursday in federal court in Washington and demands implementation of borrower defense to repayment rules. The rules aim to make schools financially responsible for fraud and forbid them from forcing students to resolve complaints outside of court. They were created under President Barack Obama's administration and were to take effect July 1st. Wow, this is like super recent. That's pretty interesting. That's what that needs to be. I mean, because like you sign this, now you have to you're subject to arbitration. Can't you still tie the suits to people outside of court even if you sign
If you
things
sign
in
an arbitration clause, you are legally bound to deal with arbitration.
It sucks.
Yep.
On June 14th, DeVos announced the rules would be delayed and rewritten, saying they created a muddled process that is unfair to students and schools. Kind of not really. Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey is leading the lawsuit and says
Hey, Massachusetts, how's that weed going?
DeVos' decision is a betrayal of her office's responsibility and a violation of federal law. A statement from New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman lists the attorneys general involved: California, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Iowa, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, and the District of Columbia.
So basically where Democrats exist.
Yeah. Basically where people that aren't shitty and actually believe that you should not be fucked.
I mean, just look at her. I mean, really. Does that look like a woman who gives a shit about anybody outside of her?
She's basically a rich bitch, and that's all she's ever been. She hasn't been anything
I like this
useful.
story. Let's just play the video. I'll cover the next story.
Okay. These are always good stories.
Oh, big guy.
And I'm going in the water.
Something like that.
Huh? What?
I said, I wish I could set up something like that.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know whether they bought it or whether they made it.
But don't it feel good?
He's like, He's like, guys,
Give a couple break.
That lady's just laughing her ass off. Everybody's having a good time. He's like, I need a diet soda.
He's like,
Yeah.
He's a really big motherfucker, though.
yeah, it's like,
She's trying.
yeah, like, give me a break.
She's in a trash bag.
Yeah.
Get informed on today's top
So,
story.
cops get a complaint about slip and slide, end up going on it.
Dude, I love when cops show. Oh, you kids are having fun over here. I like to have fun too.
There's a telltale sign the party was coming to an end. The police showed up. But when cops in Asheville, North Carolina responded to a complaint about a giant slip and slide that had been set up for the 4th of July block party, they did the unexpected. They took a ride themselves. Resident Kathleen Joyce Smith said one of the local dads decided to build a slip and slide for the neighborhood kids to enjoy during the annual block party. In the middle of the party, 2 officers showed up, They had received a complaint from one of the neighbors that our DIY water slide was blocking the road, Asheville police said. When the police came out, they quickly realized that wasn't the case and asked if they could take a turn. We looked at it and determined it wasn't really an issue, Officer Kerry Lee said in a video the police tried to post on Twitter. The first thing I said, I'm not here to break up your fun. In a video of the event, Lee can be seen using a trash bag as her raft, while Officer Jones, that's a good name, Joe Jones, slides down in an inner tube with one of the neighborhood kids. I still can't handle the amazing mess of it all, Smith wrote in a Facebook post. I hope the neighbor who called them saw it all go down.
Damn.
Ooh, snap. Jones said, well, going for the ride wasn't his idea. He didn't have much of a choice. I thought I was going to be able to get out of it because I'm too big to fit in the trash bag, but then the kids pulled out this big raft. I had no choice. In the video, Jones can be seen splashing into a small pool at the bottom of the slide. My butt is wet, he said to laughter. Look at that, that's a good cops right there. See, here's a feel-good cop story.
That dude is huge. I reiterate. He's bigger than the fucking carbine. Looks like he can't even fit in that bitch. He's probably in the SUV that's way back there, to be honest. That dude is big. That girl is like, I think probably normal. Nah, she might be short.
Well, considering the height of the kid right there, I'd say she's probably like 5 feet.
Yeah.
So I'd say this cop is like 6 feet plus, give or take.
He's still huge.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Big go. I'm Joe.
Joe Jones.
I'm Joe Jones. Alright, you want another one? No, fuck off with my ad blocker disabling.
Let's see. Roll the video.
Which one? This top one or the,
No, the second one.
The actual, yeah.
Here's a shitty shot cell phone video in portrait mode. Damn! The cops are wailing on that poor guy. Holy shit. And then he tries to break it open.
Boom, get kneed a couple times.
Yeah, and then I got the knee in the back. Oh shit, they got his head.
I'm trying really hard to get the guy's hands out from behind his back. They're like, hands behind your back. They're like, oh. He's just kind of wailing.
So cops filmed beating black man accused of jaywalking in the middle of an Arizona street. Police in Mesa, Arizona are defending their conduct during a recent arrest after a video was released that appeared to show two officers violently beating a black man for alleged minor traffic. Did you see those videos? They're fucking pounding on that poor guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's excessive.
A little bit, yeah.
During a Wednesday press conference, Jason Michael Barton, people with 3 names, claimed that he was crossing the street on the evening of June 19th when 2 officers approached and accused him of jaywalking. They pulled up on me and said I was jaywalking. He said I wasn't jaywalking. I said because the light turned quickly, the hand signal quickly turned quick, so I was there while it was blinking, which is legal. It's legal to walk when it's blinking.
Mm-hmm.
Barton claimed that he was staggered to the ground, then punched and kneed by the officers, with one allegedly telling him, "You're lucky you're alive and not dead."
That I didn't hear. I just heard put your hands behind your back. And he did get kneed because he was trying to break out, honestly.
Jonathan Jimenez, a nearby motorist, filmed the arrest. He was shocked by what he saw. I was disgusted. You see all these videos on the internet. You usually get in the middle of it, but you don't see the beginning. I usually think, what did the guy do to deserve it? But I saw what happened. I know that guy didn't deserve it, especially not for a jaywalking violation. Mesa police, however, claim Barton was taken into arrest for resisting arrest and not a simple... He was resisting arrest because...
Of the jaywalking charge.
Yeah, that... You didn't charge him with it, maybe? I don't know.
What? Jaywalking is actually kind of... Dude, the offense for jaywalking is actually really stupid. Jaywalking is like $1,000 fine sometimes. And
that's because jaywalking is a serious thing, because... Like, if you have a car coming down on like a road that says like 35, mm-hmm. and like you just suddenly walk out on the road jaywalking, the car doesn't have time to see you because it's green, and you get hit, well, then what the fuck, you know?
Then you risked your life for some stupid shit. Congratulations. Your prize in your Darwinism award is dead.
That's all I did in New York was jaywalking. Like, literally, that's what everybody did in New York. Like, because my mom was fucking stupid. Like I told, me and my dad both told my mom, because people jaywalk all the time in here. You're like, yeah, that's a thing.
Like everyone else doing, it's fun.
That's the thing you do. But my mom, she was going out on her own. And I told her, Mom, wait for the New Yorkers to go, because they'll know when it's safe.
You're like, stay in the herd.
Stay in the herd. Pretty much. She's like, when you see other people doing it, then you go. But she's like, I'm going on ahead. And like, my mom was like, I had to grab her like twice. Like, stop. Wait.
Yeah.
She's just trying to go. And I'm like, dear Lord, she's going to get fucking hit. Yeah, that's all you did in New York. Is that you just waited for there to be clear in traffic, you just jaywalk. Like, everybody did it, regardless. Like, it was very few times you ever really waited. And the only time you ever waited was because there was a lot of traffic, so you had to wait.
Yep.
I mean, that's seriously. I mean, hundreds of times I jaywalked in New York in a week. Because that's just what you did.
I didn't really jaywalk. Ever. I mean, technically jaywalking is where you walk in an area that's not marked as well. So yes, I had to jaywalk.
I jaywalked plenty of time.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is what you do in New York. Because the lights there are long, and the traffic there is sparse sometimes.
See, I've gotten to the point where I don't slow down when people walk in the middle of the road. I'm like, well, they get hit. Yeah.
I slow down, but that's because I don't want the damage to my vehicle.
I slow down. I don't slow down because the damage to my vehicle, I will sue their family for damages. I don't care. And he risks his life.
You have to go through a legal process and shit.
And then they're going to be grieving, and I'm just going to be sitting there like, he broke my goddamn car. I don't care. He's fucking dead. He fucked up. That's his fault, not mine. And now my car's fucked up, so now you guys owe me money. Actually, his insurance company does.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Most of the police, however, claimed he was taken resistant arrest and some jaywalking charge. The force that they went after him with had nothing to do with jaywalking. It had to do with an individual running from a lawful detention. The jaywalking is like a ticket. Right?
A warning or a citation.
A warning,
yes.
citation, ticket, and a misdemeanor is like, oh, you jaywalked, here's your ticket, go.
Pretty much.
Cause no trouble. Anyways, good enough. I covered the last story, so good enough.
Oh. Ouch. Oh my god, this fucking... Didn't we cover this last... What? Wait, didn't we?
No, we talked about it at work.
We talked about what?
We talked about that at work.
Did we?
Yes.
Oh. Well then. Germany approves plans to fine social media firms up to $50 million. Euros. And up to 50 million European dollars. Anyway. This is important. Measure requires social media platforms to remove obviously illegal hate speech and other posters within 24 hours of receiving a notification.
Let's pause there. Who defines what is obvious hate speech or illegal content? Because in, let's say, America, this is the thing, Facebook, YouTube, all the social media companies are global companies. So where does one country's jurisdiction, cross ties with another country's jurisdiction? You know? Because Germany could say, well, Nazism is illegal. But in America, we're like, you can post Nazi shit because America freedom.
Because you're a neo-Nazi fuck, but yeah.
Yeah, you're a neo-Nazi fuck, but still, you have that right to do so and be an idiot.
Yeah. And I fight for your right, even though I'm not a military man.
So does the ACLU.
Yeah, I fight for your right to be a fucking idiot.
Yep.
Amazing. See, that's why it'd be perfect, honestly, for the military. I fight for people's rights of freedom, even though they're fucking stupid and the people aren't worth it. But the freedom is... I like the freedom. I'm here for the freedom. I like the freedom in my life in general. So, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing. Because, I mean, with Canada, we covered last week how Canada's like, yeah, this company, Google, you have to take them down everywhere, globally. And, like, Canada doesn't have that authority. They're fucking Canada. You know where they have the authority to remove it from? Google.ca. It exists on Google.com, Google.co.uk, Google. Whatever the fuck. It can stay there.
Pretty much.
I mean, unless you want to bring it up to like the World Trade Organization and deal with international freaking trademarks and shit, then they could probably do something.
Yeah, but even then they would still be like, eh.
Yeah. But I mean, for Germany to be doing this, it's just like, what? If I say... Because, I mean, I could just say, like, jokingly, Hitler did nothing wrong. And if I posted that as a video on Facebook or whatever, they would have to...
on Twitch as we are right now.
I mean, we are on Twitch. And it is valid. I mean, Hitler was wrong, of course. But I'm just saying in reference to this.
Maybe not. I
gotta make those caveats.
I still maintain that Hitler wasn't necessarily a terribly bad person. He just kind of went with the flow and did bad things. Right? He didn't really do he got people to do very bad things. He didn't do much of it on his own, to be honest.
Again, the views associated by the host do not represent the show and my own views at any point. They are his own independent personal views.
No, I mean, when my mouth moves and words come out, it's like the same thing for him. We have differing opinions on things. I don't know. It's whatever. I'm not saying that the shit that happened wasn't bad, but I'm not saying that he's necessarily a terrible person for it. I mean,
he did cause the death of millions of Jews.
Yeah, but on the same hand, our multiple presidents have caused the death of hundreds of thousands of civilians in multiple war-torn countries.
Yes.
So it's the same thing.
No, what Hitler did was a systematic genocide of a particular people based on...
It wasn't a genocide because over enough survived.
It was genocide.
Yeah, genocidal. It wasn't genocide. Proper genocide would end in them not having anything.
Define genocide.
I believe genocide is it is a persecution of a certain group of people, and I think it's over a couple 100,000 people.
He killed millions. He committed genocide against Jews.
Yeah, but again,
and other people, gypsies, gays, anybody that didn't fit in his master plan.
Yep. But I'm just saying.
So he was responsible for that. Nobody fucking put a gun to his head and told him, "Hey Hitler, you should really persecute the Jews." And it was like, no. He's like, this is a great idea. We should persecute the Jews and make them look bad for the fall of Germany, and make them look bad because they were the cause of Germany's fall after World War II.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily mean it was all just his idea.
No, there were other people who gave him the ideas, but he was the leader of it. He was the one who gave the orders.
That's the thing I'm saying. It's not necessarily his fault.
No, it is his fault. If you invite him to come to you and like, hey, David, you know what you should do? Kill 6 million Jews. And then you're like, and you're running the country, you're like, that's a good idea.
Well, if I'm running the country and I make other people do it, if I'm running the country and I make other people do it, I'm passed off like, didn't shit.
You did. You gave the orders.
The
Nuremberg defense does not apply.
I gave them the freedom.
The Nuremberg defense does not apply.
I gave them the freedom to do it. They did it. I told them they should.
You're the one that gave the order to do it.
So, it doesn't matter.
That means you are responsible.
Not really.
Yes, you are. You're responsible for the outcome of your order. Yes, you are. You have to take responsibility for the order that you give.
Nope. You don't have to.
Yes, you do.
You don't have to.
If I give an order to kill 10 million civilians, you know what? That's on me. It's not on the person who pushes the button, or the drone operator, or the soldier that shoots the person.
Actually, it's on all of you.
It's on all of us, but the ultimate responsibility lies on me because I'm the one that gave the order from the top.
Also true.
And that's what Hitler did. Hitler gave the order from the top to do these measures, and then everybody else did the measures, regardless of whether they were just following orders as the Nuremberg defense is. So that's what Hitler is ultimately at the top, and he's ultimately responsible. That's what they say, that's what they say, the CEO is at the top, he's responsible for the outcome that occurs.
I would fight against CEOs being responsible because CEOs don't do jack shit normally.
Well, when you're leading a country, you're leading a country.
Well, yeah, but when you're leading a country, you still have other people like here's this thing that you shouldn't read.
Sign off on it, it doesn't get done.
But if you sign off, it doesn't mean you read through the whole thing.
No, but it's not like Hitler could miss. It's not like Hitler could miss the construction of the death camps, the systematic extermination, the Warsaw Ghetto.
That's true, but I'm still saying that it's possible that it doesn't matter if he didn't stop it because he couldn't. Probably
he could have. He was the one leading it.
I still think I don't know if he could
have. It was a part of his plan to exterminate and eliminate the Jews because he pinned the entire cause of the German colony on them.
I'm still not going to think that he's a terrible guy.
He's a terrible human being!
No. I'm not going to go with it. I would have to do tons of research.
He's a neo-Nazi.
I'm going to do tons of my
own
research.
Nazi.
I'm an open to all sides type of deal, neutral. So
there's no neutral in the extermination of 6 million people.
Yeah, there is if you don't give a fuck.
That's not neutral.
That's neutral.
Apathy.
That's still neutrality. It's still neutrality.
No, that
is taking neither side. That is taking neither side. Neutrality is taking neither side.
Get me the definition for neutrality, and then we'll compare it to the definition of apathy.
They're going to be different.
Exactly.
The state of not supporting or helping either side in a conflict, disagreement, etc. Impartiality. Absence of decided views, expression, or strong feeling. I have no feeling of either side. I am neutral! Being apathetic also means you're neutral. Yes! Showing or feeling no interest, enthusiasm, or concern.
So you have apathetic neutrality. Yes. Fuck you. And you're apathetic.
I would laugh if I found neutrality in apathy. But still, I don't know. I would have to do more research to come to a really educated conclusion. I mean, I gotta read his mind.
Okay, I'll pay for a ticket to go to Warsaw.
You pay for what?
A ticket to go to Warsaw.
Dude, I'll probably enjoy it.
And then I'll take a ticket of the course I'll get us, and then I'll send you to Auschwitz.
I'll switch the meaning of pain. That's used in an Iron Maiden song. But yeah.
Ah, God fucking damn you.
But I'm still, but I'm saying by the same token of respect, our people are bad people too. I mean, sure they didn't kill as many people as Hitler did, but what I'm trying to say is you don't apply the exact same aesthetic to our people. Yet, people in other countries do.
No, I don't cry at the murder death of civilians. I've discussed it many times.
Yeah, I know, but it's not the same.
No, you're right. It's not the same. It's not a systematic extermination of a particular
That part doesn't matter. No. For you and your views, for the purpose of your views, people getting murdered in general should be a problem. But
it's a problem. I have a problem with people dying.
What I'm saying is, you and most people are just like, Hitler was a terrible person. But like throughout the years, we've killed tons of people.
I understand. But I don't approve of us killing people.
Yes,
David.
but what I'm saying is, you're not as against our people.
I'm incredibly against our people killing civilians.
You say that when it's brought up, but you don't vehemently go, I don't like our president because he signs off on the hundreds of thousands of deaths of civilians.
I disagree with these drone strikes. They only have like a 5% success rate.
Why don't you talk about it? Why don't you say Trump's a terrible person then?
He is a terrible person.
Alright, good. Well, Trump is a terrible person in general. What about Obama, huh?
He's a terrible person with all the drone strikes. This is a killing. Hell, the ending. I mean, he ended the Iraq War, but I mean, also decreased the deficit. But
he ended the Iraq War.
Obamacare is a right-wing plan. I disagree with presidents that if you want plenty of things.
There you go. That's all I wanted.
What the hell do you think I think?
Nothing, because you're kind of don't think anything.
I think I have an opinion about everything, and it's not like I venerate anybody. Not like, oh, Obama did nothing wrong, Hillary Clinton's the best. No, I disagree with everybody on many things because they did terrible things.
There you go. Attaboy.
Why do you think I didn't think that?
I don't know. Because you don't say anything about it.
I shouldn't. I mean, I don't, but I mean...
That's what I'm saying. You're just like...
I mean, what? Do you want me to prove in every conversation? You know, we killed 250,000 civilians on Iraq.
Yes.
You know.
Because if you're going to bring up Hitler, bring up our atrocities too. Everyone deserves
You know, the Crusades happened.
Oh, I love the Crusades. Let's fucking go ham about the Crusades.
I mean, shit, if I had to do that, I'd spend all my day talking about that.
Exactly!
Shit, that's why I'm talking about it!
So in the end, let me come full circle to a summary. It doesn't matter, because shit's still gonna happen. People are always gonna die.
No! There has to be an outrage to stop it!
An outrage won't stop it. It didn't stop it.
It
didn't stop Nazis. It doesn't stop everyone getting killed in the Middle East. Well, it doesn't stop anything. An outrage doesn't stop shit.
Well, you can if you can back it up with political will and power.
It does if you can pack it up with weapons.
Move along. Continue the story, please.
I love that tangent. That was beautiful. I love it.
You got shit to get through.
Am I covering this one? I guess I am. Social media companies face fines of up to 50 million euros if they persistently fail to remove illegal content from their sites under a new law passed in Germany. The German parliament on Friday approved the bill aimed at cracking down on hate speech, criminal material, and fake news on social networks.
Fake news.
There's that fucking buzzword again. But critics warn it could have drastic consequences for free speech online. You're damn right. Germany has some of the world's toughest laws covering defamation, public incitement to commit crimes, and threats of violence. I'm sure I've been included on some sort of German list thing for trying to get... I won't talk. Anyway, with prison sentences for Holocaust denial... What? Or inciting hatred against minorities. Holocaust denial You can get in prison for what?
Yeah, people have gotten in prison like recently.
What the fuck?
Because Germany's like really big on the Holocaust and that it happened, because of course it did happen. Nobody can disagree with that.
Yeah. I think it's funny that you can get prison for denying it, though. That's kind of silly.
Well, because Germany doesn't want... Because Germany's really afraid of becoming Nazis again. They weren't.
They're really afraid of becoming Nazis again, to the point that they're like kind of almost causing some of those things to come back.
Yeah, they're afraid of it because they don't want to become it.
Yet they take away people's rights.
And they also feel really bad about it. Yeah. That's why when Angela Merkel, whenever the whole immigration thing started happening, she's like, we're going to bring in 1 million plus of them. Because Germany feels like they have like a national soul that they owe everybody a favor for, and they have to make up for the Holocaust and for being Nazis. Still, the sins of the fathers are passed down to the sons, which is an idea.
At some point, I don't believe in that.
I disagree with that principle.
What the sins of the fathers? Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that at some point I believe? I mean, for the first couple generations, sure, but after that, no.
I disagree. Because I mean, it's not like if my grandfather was a Nazi and he committed atrocities, I'm not a Nazi.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you are that person. That's why the whole slavery thing is ridiculous.
I shouldn't have to feel guilty about my grandfather being a Nazi, which for clarification, he wasn't. He was a soldier in World War II against the Nazis.
Was your grandpa really a soldier?
He was in the Navy.
Oh.
My family has a deep history of the Navy.
Mine too. I wonder if your grandpa knew my grandpa. My grandpa was around during the Vietnam War and stuff, though. Mm-hmm. Your grandpa was probably much older than mine. Mine's dead, but still.
Mine's dead as well. Was he in World War II? I don't know. Maybe not.
World War II would mean they were... Well, right now they'd be like 90s. Mm-hmm. When was he born?
I don't remember.
Huh. Just ask your dad. I'm sure he knows. But either way.
But I disagree with that because
you are the person.
It develops into Germany.
It develops into Germany?
Yeah. The German people have to feel sorry for everything. They're not Canadians.
Nah.
They don't have to set some overarching, 1,000-year debt to the world for it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was fucked up. But, I mean, even a lot of the Nazis that were Nazis weren't even okay with being Nazis, to be honest, if I remember correctly.
I think there was a small percentage. I think it was 30% people didn't agree with it.
That's kind of large.
It was a sizable amount, but it didn't do anything.
Well, yeah, it's not going to do anything. But I mean, some people usually kind of go with the times.
Continue on with the German.
But either way, yeah, no, you are not your father. You are not your mother. You are not your parents. You are yourself. You're your own being. Mm-hmm. The sooner you learn that in your life, the better off you'll be. Anyway, the measure requires social media platforms to remove obviously illegal hate speech and other postings within 24 hours after receiving a notification or complaint, and to block other offensive content within 7 days. The German Justice Minister Heiko Maas, who was the driving force behind the bill, said, "Freedom of speech ends where the criminal law begins," Maas said.
Let me describe America's freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is enshrined in the First Amendment. Now let me bring up the Bill of Rights here on.
Anyway, while I continue on, Maas said official figures show the number of hate crimes in Germany increased by more than 300% in the last 2 years. Social media platforms such as Facebook, Google, and Twitter. I wouldn't even count Google as a social media platform, to be honest.
It's not. It's the search engine.
I guess. Have battleground for more angry debates about Germany's recent influx of more than 1 million refugees.
So let me describe.
So they're mad about
here's
that.
Here's the First Amendment.
All right.
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right to people peacefully assemble, or to petition the government for redress of grievances.
I'm just going to go on a token and say here the First Amendment's been violated a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody really says anything if it's in their favor.
Mm.
Because, I mean, especially with the church thing. The church thing's a big one.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, you understand what I'm saying, is that it is one of our most
It was one of our most sacred and like biggest deals.
Things about this country is that this is literally the first amendment of the first text describing our rights enshrined in the Constitution.
It's the original 10 rights. I mean, they say amendments, but the Bill of Rights is the original.
It's the first 10 amendments.
10. They're the first, basically anything. Weren't they drafted around the same time?
What?
Bill of Rights
And
the Constitution, yeah.
Probably.
I believe there were like instant amendments.
I think the Constitution was established first and then amendments afterwards. Yeah, it says right here, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution make up the Bill of Rights, written by James Madison in response to calls from several states for greater constitutional protection of individual liberties.
I think what's funny is back then they were thinking this hardcore about people's rights.
Well, that's the thing.
And then nowadays,
they were creating an entire new country with multiple states within it already. They had to think about everything that.
No, I mean, but like for the time, that's kind of interesting thing. But I couldn't even fathom that at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta imagine. I mean, our founding fathers were great men, very intelligent people. Slave owners, some of them, of course. We will always have to bring that up. I mean, it's true. It's back in history. Yeah. But I mean, they were very smart men who were.
That doesn't make them worse people just because they own slaves. Sometimes it's just how people lived, honestly.
I don't know. Britain pretty much eliminated slavery in like early 1800s.
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying. I mean, they were very, intelligent men who were building country. I mean, that's why if you pull out, a dollar and you look at it, it's
George Washington. Wait, what?
No. On the back, where the old little pyramid and the Olsen eye. I mean, it's like, from many one.
And the Illuminati, but yes, continue.
In Latin it says, from many one. It's a country of people coming together to form, a single entity, or from what's the old saying? Not e pluribus unum, but the other one. Is it e pluribus unum? But it's a nation for the ages, or a new order for the ages, which is basically what they were establishing. A new country founded on the principle of, freedom, liberty, and as it is enshrined, that's why it's, the unbuilt pyramid. It is forever point that our country is ever improving. I mean, these symbols are our national symbols. These mottos are our mottos because even though people may not understand what they mean, they're there for a reason. They point to a greater understanding, of what they wanted this country to be. And Germany clearly has missed the mark.
Tilder here. Germany's making some stupid claims and it's ridiculous and it's just it's not going to hold up for America or anything probably. They're just going to hand 50 million euro for not taking that within 24 hours is ridiculous. Especially with the internet, how much shit's posted on it. These shit posts there are.
It's going to be impossible.
Yep. By the way, we're keeping.
Well, Kelly, it's a double-pronged legal attack that.
Anyway, we're running on the time, buddy. So what do you want to do?
Let's see. That one's a repetitive one. That one is about. This is a neat story. But Qualcomm's important because it's fucking Qualcomm about to screw over Apple.
Oh, I love that. I want that in my life.
What is that one? It's just blackmail. So, Qualcomm seeks to ban imports and sales of Apple iPhones in new lawsuit.
That's hot.
The iPhone has allegedly infringed on 6 of Qualcomm's patents that improve iPhone battery life. Qualcomm ultimately wants regulators to investigate which phones use cellular processors from Qualcomm's competitors and halt the sales of iPhones that violate those patents. The suit is the latest in an ongoing battle war between Apple and Qualcomm. Let's see. The chipmaker Qualcomm is asking U.S. trade regulators to ban iPhone imports according to the new lawsuit. Apple has allegedly infringed on 6 of Qualcomm's patents that improve iPhone battery life according to Qualcomm. Now Qualcomm wants Apple to pay damages. Apple continues to use Qualcomm's technology while refusing to pay for it. Don Rosenberg, Executive Vice President and General Counsel of Qualcomm. said in a statement, Qualcomm ultimately wants regulators to investigate which phones use cellular processors from Qualcomm's competitors and how the sales of iPhones that violate the patents. Qualcomm said it has filed complaints with the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of California and with the United States International Trade Commission. It is not immediately clear how many iPhones that would affect. The suit is the latest battle in the ongoing war between the two California technology companies. I didn't know Qualcomm was still...
Yeah, what the fuck? I don't have that. That's gone.
No,
It's right here. It's just, there's a quote here now.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Apple, in January, sued Qualcomm for roughly $1 billion, claiming Qualcomm had been charging royalties for the technology they have nothing to do with. The fight with Apple has weighed on Qualcomm, which has been hoping that its new wave of data standards, such as 5G, will keep it ahead of its ahead of its rivals like Intel. Qualcomm,
You know, it would be interesting if Qualcomm actually gets into the real processor market.
Yeah.
They could.
They do it.
No, I'm talking about real processor market, like desktop.
They could.
They have really good technology in these phones that are already as good as laptop Intels. To be honest,
Like Celerons, maybe.
no, better than that.
Core i3s.
No, some of these phones have quad core fucking hyper threading. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. These Qualcomm processors are no fucking joke in a phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, carry on. If only we can get as much RAM and as much space.
Without an agreed upon rate to determine how much is owed, we've suspended payments until the correct amount can be determined by the court, Apple said. Qualcomm has separately been under investigation by the FTC, which alleged that Qualcomm used its exclusive relationship with Apple to keep competitors from getting stronger. Apple CEO Tim Cook compared Qualcomm's business practices to buying a sofa from a company that charges a different price depending on the house it goes into. Despite being just one of over a dozen companies which attributed to basic cellular standards, Qualcomm insists on charging Apple at least 5 times more in payments than all the other cellular patent licensors we have agreements with combined.
Is there a problem with them doing that?
I mean, I guess.
I don't think there is, realistically.
I mean, there has to be like a reasonable limit.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if they're a Bayer company and they're making a shit ton of money off your product and they're also upselling the fuck out of what your product,
But Qualcomm's defenders say that Apple has minimized Qualcomm's contributions to the iPhone. Qualcomm spent billions of dollars developing critical technologies that Apple now seems to want to be able to have access to for free or next to nothing.
which they probably do.
So, anyways. So, yeah. Apple and Qualcomm are trying to fight each other out. Should be
I'm
interesting
down
to
with
see.
that. Go for it.
Moving on.
Moving on. Is this one of the ones you want to cover?
Yeah, it seems interesting. Because you don't.
Yeah, don't really care.
We're writing data on atoms.
Okay. World's smartest hard drive writes data atom by atom. Dutch scientists have developed a unique solution to deal with the storage problem by manipulating single atoms. Researchers have created the world's smallest hard drive capable of storing 1 kilobyte of data, 8,000 bits, in a space under 100 nanometers across. The technology means that all the books in the world could be stored on a device the size of a postage stamp. Excuse me? What? In a study published Monday, how many of these things would it take to store all the world's porn? That's the real question. I would like to download one internet's.
Let's see, probably a page.
A page?
I guess. I don't know.
Like a stamp page?
No, I mean like a 8.5 by like 11.5 page.
Mm.
This is a printer page. But I mean, still. Just imagine that. They talk about shadow when you get the fingernail, like storage guys. That can actually exist.
Well, that can already exist.
I mean, I suppose so, but not as super compact and high data storage.
You can have something probably that compact. I don't know.
To store all the world's books.
You wouldn't be able to store. You can't store all the world's books on the finger drive thing.
I mean, probably not. But if that goes through, you could.
Yeah, if that goes through, you could I don't know. That's some weird shit. You can get stuff implanted in your brain. and like go ham. Oh, cyberization. Yes, it's so possible.
Man.
I'm a Mystic Adept. What do I care? What essence? I have like half
I
essence.
have full essence.
I don't know what I have.
Because I have no tech, even though I know cybertronics.
I don't think I took any, but yeah. It would have been cool if I did. It would have been more badass. More OP.
In a study published Monday in the Journal of Nature Nanotechnology, scientists from the Technical University of Delft said that they've created an atomic hard drive with the storage density of 5 times greater than the current hard drive technology. 500 times greater. God damn, that's insane.
Associate professor at TU Delft and lead researcher Sander Ott and his team found that placing chlorine atoms on a copper surface created the perfect square grid. A hole appears in the grid when an atom is missing. Using a scanning tunneling microscope, scientists were able to move atoms around one by one and even drag individual atoms toward the hole. When a chlorine atom is on top with a hole beneath it, it is a 1, the binary digit. And when it's the other way around, it's a 0, thus creating a hard drive. I guess? The combination of chlorine atoms aboard copper crystal surfaces that we found now, combined with the fact that we manipulate holes, just as in a sliding puzzle, makes for a much more reliable, reproducible, and scalable manipulation technique that can be easily automated. Ott said, "It is as if we have invented the atomic scale printing process." Eesh.
Printing press. I mean, that's revolutionary, considering how revolutionary the printing press was.
Yep.
Anyways, good enough. We covered that. And
Cool.
basically, interesting. It says the technique is not ready for large-scale implementation. It can only operate in a clean, vacuum conditions and at liquid nitrogen temperatures.
Yeah, because if not, chlorine gas is bad.
Yeah. The actual storage of data on an atomic scale is still some way off, but through this achievement, we have certainly become a big step closer.
Yeah, for them to be like that, they would have to be like super pressurized. They'd have to be really careful.
So basically, we're using crystals. Got it.
Huh?
Data storage is crystals as data storage.
No. I don't think so. What do you mean, me? I just read the last one. Fuck off. Your turn.
This strange new phone has a holographic display and a big price tag. What the hell is a holographic display? First off, that's my question. Do you know what a holographic display is?
No idea.
Neither do I.
Is it just like I can fucking manipulate it with my hands? Is it like a 3D interface? That'd be badass.
Do you think phones are too expensive? We suggest... Oh, God.
You suggest...
Oh, it's
God.
pain. Shit, this chair is so uncomfortable even with this freaking cushion. I'm trying to...
Ooh, red. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's made from bread.
Got it?
Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. So you think phones are too expensive? We suggest swallowing whatever you're drinking now so you don't spit it all over your monitor when you see the cost of Red's latest creation. Red, a camera company, which makes fucking like 10K cameras,
Yeah.
has announced its first smartphone called the Hydrogen One. This Android device has a holographic display that uses nanotechnology to switch from flat 2D images to holographic 3D, augmented reality, and mixed reality content on its 5.7-inch display. What does that mean? I still don't know what that means.
Double rainbow. What does it mean?
Experience. Look around depth in the palm of your hand. No glasses or headsets. Oh.
So it is 3D.
It's actually 3D.
Holy shit, that's hot. What?
That's interesting.
That's hot. My dick is hard.
This sounds intriguing, but the unlocked handset's starting price tag is $1,195 for the aluminum model. Bump it up to titanium, and you'll fork over $1,595, or a bump of $400. Sticker shock, yes, but the price may go even higher. Red's press release states we will not guarantee these prices at time of release. Taxes and shipping are also not included. Unlocked phones can creep up to 1,000 mark, but paying $1,600 for an untested smartphone is asking for a lot. Red is clearly hoping the Hydrogen One's features, including plus a healthy dose of hype, will be enough to entice. Let's see, the hydrogen one also taps a proprietary H30 algorithm to convert stereo sound into expansive, multi-dimensional audio.
This sounds like a crock of shit.
This is to complement the holographic content you're seeing, as well as provide a premium listening experience.
It sounds like the perfect phone for Kenneth.
Too expensive. Even though I paid like $900 for
And
this.
then I'll never hear the end of it.
Maybe it's not expensive. Maybe I should go buy it.
And then I'll never hear the end of it. He'll be like,
Look at this.
no,
You see this?
not even
Yeah.
4K,
Look at that.
holographic.
You can look into it and press down and that's what you want.
He'll be like,
You see
I'm
the side
done
there?
with
You see the
4K.
side there?
I just want
That's
holographic. I can't wait for a holographic TV. I'm gonna play games on my holographic screen.
Oh, gosh.
In holographic.
vibe.
No.
Oh, God, yes. Doing it.
God damn it.
Wait, if they have a holographic vibe display, you won't need the lenses, I don't think.
If they have a holographic vibe display, you don't even need the headset.
It's not holographic in that sense. The screen just allows you to see depth. So like when you look at the screen, so when you look at something,
It's not like projection holographic
No.
where you can
It's-
touch it and manipulate and
Yeah.
enjoy it. I don't want it.
it's more of a like.
Nope,
so,
it's
so
shit.
you look at the screen, so
Shit.
you look at the camera. So like, say you're seeing
Shit.
like something like could be like that deep
The
in
worst.
real life. Well, when you actually look, you're actually seeing the perspective. You can actually see the depth.
Not worth it.
Probably not, but it's an interesting idea.
No. I want the kind of like 3D like models that I can play with in my house that are projected all over my shit. That's what I want.
It's going to take another couple hundred years.
No. If I really wanted to, I could make some. Those are easy to make. Holographic projections that you can actually touch and play with. There are keyboards. They're really cheap. The little laser LED things. You just stick them up and then they project a keyboard and where you touch it to text.
Well, that's different.
It's the same thing. It's exactly what I want.
It's not holographic. That's just a laser keyboard, and then whenever you break the beam, it interprets what you touch it.
It's not a laser, but I mean, it's a light. It projects something on a surface or just projects a thing. And then when you go to touch it, it registers that your input exists. That is basically holographic. By breaking, the light, that would be what a true holographic.
There is a definition.
What is holographic as a definition? Fuck me up, baby. Let's do this. All I see are the top stories for that. Do it?
Okay, then what's a hologram?
I want a hologram. Fine hologram.
A three-dimensional image formed by the interference of light beams from a laser or other coherent light source. A photograph of an interference pattern that, when suitably illuminated, produces a three-dimensional image.
So, a three-dimensional image formed by interference of light
So you
beams.
want like that?
Yeah. One you could easily manipulate. But yeah, those things exist. But I want one that you could... It registers the God damn it. Manipulation.
Because, I mean, you can do that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's just a holographic projector.
Which is still cool. I mean, that's what I want. I want
that. To where just that. And then I can just, like, manipulate it.
Yeah, that's what I want.
That's what
I want to be
But
able
it's
to
not going to
manipulate
happen
that.
for many decades.
Yeah. I mean, it could. All it takes is... like I said, it already happens, basically. All it takes is some really nice timed... boards, Arduino boards or something, and LEDs/lasers. That's it. That's all it would be. Maybe probably some smoke too.
Let's see,
Smoke
should I
would probably
pre-order
help.
the red one?
I don't know how much is it.
$11.95.
Gross.
Let's see. I'll pre-order two.
What's up? Wait, what's up, man? What's up with the question mark? What you talking about, buddy? We're looking at holograms. We're looking in the future, man. We're talking about this thing. This phone. We're talking about how it's got a holographic display.
It's like they literally don't tell much about it. It's
Just like, here's all the shit to get super hyped.
It's like, can we see it?
Of course you can't see it. Why they wouldn't want you to see it.
It says view holographic red hydrogen for view content. View stereo 3D content. 2D, 3D, VR, AR, MR, ER.
Literally, they threw all of the things into there.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Oh, apparently it's modular. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at something else. You're looking at the actual site for it.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that you type in hologram, that's the only thing that comes up, like holographic. It's the first 3 stories out on everything.
Very nice. So, Xbox Scorpio.
How are we going to go with the Xbox One X, XXXX, Triple X? Well, I gotta go for big. Until then, I'll leave you with some tools. But, okay. Not understanding that, but alright.
Okay. Fun.
Xbox One X. Everything we know about Project Scorpio's Final 4. This isn't even my Final Form, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, nice. I'm gonna read this part. Updated. Concerned you didn't see Master Chief in 4K on Xbox One X during E3? Don't worry. Turns out 343 Studios was saving the surprise for after the show, and today announced that Halo 5 will receive a game update to support true 4K. What? For the release of the Xbox One X. Studios also announced that Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, yes, Halo 4, and Halo CE Anniversary will be coming to Xbox One's list of backwards compatible games later this year. Fuck yes. I'm down for that. Project Scorpio finally has its real name, Xbox One X. This is the evolution of Microsoft Xbox consoles. We had a little time with the new console, so you can check out our hands-on Xbox One. Xbox One was announced during E3's 2017 keynote on stage by Xbox Chief Phil Spencer. Plus, they're hyped the Xbox One X's ability to play games in native 4K, often at 60 frames per second. Okay. While the Xbox One X will be the most powerful console ever created with 12 gigs of DDR5 memory, it doesn't mean old Xbox Ones will be left in the dust. Spencer was clear that there will be game compatibility across all Xbox devices. So what does the Xbox One X do differently? The big selling point is 4K, a resolution 4 times higher than the traditional 1080p, but that's not the only tricks up Xbox One X's sleeve. It can also play games in HDR and at a higher frame rate, and at higher frame rates than both the original Xbox One and Xbox One S. Thankfully, however, you won't need all new controllers or headsets. All the accessories that work on the Xbox One work on and Xbox One S will work on the Xbox One X. Blech. So how much is going to set you back? $500 or £500 or 500 whatever the fuck that is. It's British pounds, I guess, right? The hell, yeah. Or 600 Canadian or 649 Australian dollars.
Yeah, Australia always gets the short end of the stick.
Dollars, Australia. Almost unable to Xbox One S, Space Flash. Jesus fuck. Fuck's sake. It comes with a 4K Blu-ray player, advanced electrical engineering, Moore's Law, a miracle, call it whatever you want, but the Xbox One X defies what we thought was possible for a console, squeezing an ultra-powerful GPU into a slim plastic shell.
Hello, it is AMD GPU.
Huh?
It's an AMD GPU.
Yeah, they've been using, all the consoles use AMD APU GPU things. You knew that.
I know, I'm just letting the people know.
Yep.
AMD has it.
Yep. Also similar to the Xbox One S, Xbox has 2 physical buttons, one in place of the touch capacitive power button, and one for the eject button on the face of the console. Yeah, I fucking hate capacitive touch, honestly. It's cool and it's nifty, but it's fucking annoying. Anyway, but the big difference is that you can even call it big, is a shift of the drive from the front top section down to the very middle of the console. It might not have any difference in practice, but it does feel a bit more confusing for players handling the system for the first time. Wait, what? It's a shift of the drive from the front top section down to the very middle of the console. Like,
I don't know if the PS4 has it that way. It's not that common.
No. It's not talking about like it being flat and being in the middle, because that's where mine is. It's talking about like it's on one side of the console, which is where the PS4's is. Like it's talking about it's literally going to be in the center of the console.
Oh, that's weird.
That is kind of weird too. Yeah, I thought the same thing. That's odd.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to assume it like has some sort of special cooling vents that blow out the sides or something. That'd be the only reason why that would make sense. Is if you had like some weird cooling pathways that change anyway. It might be out of luck. My only color.
What's powering it?
Huh? What?
No.
Oh. What is it? What's powering? Although we haven't seen the console running for ourselves, Microsoft has released full specs in an interview with Eurogamer's Digital Foundry, highlighting for the new console's GPU, which will pack a massive 6 teraflops of graphical performance. The Xbox One X's GPU has 40.
My 1070 beats that.
It has 40 compute units compared to the original Xbox's 12, running at a clock speed of 1172 megahertz, up from 853, which is a big jump over both the original Xbox and the PS4 Pro, which is sure. It's particularly GPU's performance in the Xbox One. Before you start celebrating, that's still a fair amount less than NVIDIA's GeForce GTX 1080, which pumps out a whopping 9 teraflops. Consider that the high-quality VR only requires a 970 to work properly. Xbox One X shouldn't, in theory at least, have any trouble fighting Xbox gamers with their first foray into virtual reality, which would be interesting. However, the console should be able to run very efficiently thanks to upgrades to its command processor, which has been upgraded to make use of Microsoft's new DirectX 12 graphics API, resulting in efficiency savings of the console as much as 50% for titles running on the new API, according to Microsoft. However, they could just use, what was the other one again?
Vulkan.
Vulkan. Miles ahead of this. Anything run? Well, nothing. Still nothing runs on DX12 though. That's why.
Well, especially considering that Vulkan is AMD, or was AMD's.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that Vulkan just runs fine on just about anything. And nothing runs DX12, but nothing would really run Vulkan either. I don't know. Being on the forefront of DX gaming,
The only good thing is that
everything's only been about at DX11 or 10 still, even recently. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you can force to downscale DX9 still. Like, there's still options for a lot of games on Steam and shit, which is nuts. DX12 is kind of meh, and it doesn't really do much.
Yeah, but with the DX12 getting into consoles, as much as I'm loath to say it, developers will actually start focusing on using it more.
Well, yeah, which is good, because it's been there for fucking... I want to say it's been there for like 5 years now. 3? 4? It's been there for like 3.
4, I'd say.
3 or 4. I'm feeling like it's 3, 4, 5, something like that. I mean, DX12's been around since the end-ish of Windows 7. But, you know.
That I'm just leaning over here cut off.
No. You don't need...
Why are we cut off? I mean...
Because we, like...
The camera's wider view.
Yeah, because like, we moved it in. Because if we moved it back, there would be edges. There'd be edgy teens. Either way. But yeah. TLDR, Xbox One X looks decent, I guess. Should be alright.
I mean, for $500, it's not bad.
Nope. Now, let's see if, like, with $500 more worth of everything, if it'll do good. No, do you want to cover any stupid and crazy, or are we good with any tech? Because it's already 11:13.
Let's see. So we have the story of a woman who has sued dozens of people in court and is no longer allowed welcome to the court because she uses the law from her law school days to try and take advantage of it. We have a man who uses fireworks to get bees out of the garage. The bees are gone, so is the garage because he burned it down. Florida man locked up 90 days after cops mistake drywall for cocaine. And days after release from jail for robbing a convenience store, the man allegedly tries to rob the same store. So what do you think?
No, if you want, I don't really care. I'm good with just like cutting it and hanging out.
I'm going to cover the convenience store one because it's just that's the epitome of stupidity.
Alright.
Yeah.
Come on.
So, a man was just released from jail for trying to rob a Southeast Baltimore store again. He's wanted again for trying to rob the same store. Officers were called in October 30th, 2016. Is this new news or is this old news? No, it's new news. To the Broadway convenience store on the 500 block of South Broadway Street on an attempted report of robbery. Employees told police that a man came up to the store asking to purchase something, but then demanded the employee open up the register. The suspect also threatened to shoot the employee. The victim tried to comply with the robber's demand, but the suspect grew impatient and ran away. The victim gave the robber's description to the officer who found him a short time later. The suspect was identified as then 19-year-old Eric Chapman of the 800 block of East Chase Street, was arrested and charged with attempted armed robbery. Chapman spent the next 8 months in jail while he awaited trial. He pleaded guilty on the charge of robbery at the trial and was given a sentence of 2 years, with all but 8 months, which was the time served, suspended, and then 2 years of supervised probation. Chapman was released from jail on June 6th. 20 days later, on Monday, officers were again called to the Broadway convenience store on a report of attempted armed robbery. The same employee from the previous robbery in 2016 told police that now 20-year-old Chapman came into the store, handed him a pink note telling him to open up the cash register or he would shoot him again. Police said the victim's shock, to the victim's shock, Chapman had returned to the same store after being released from prison with the intention of committing robbery. The employee was able to activate the panic alarm, and Chapman ran away. I'm glad that convenience store got a panic alarm. An arrest warrant was issued for Chapman, who remains at large, police said. He's wanted for armed robbery, first and second degree assault, handgun in person, attempt to use a firearm in commission of a felony, and the attempted theft of less than $100. He didn't even get $100. What the fuck, man?
And welcome to robbers.
So this guy's just a fucking idiot. Like, I was just in jail for like 2 years. You know what to do? Get out of jail, and then go rob the same convenience store again. They'll never suspect that I was going to rob it again. Anyways.
Alright. With that, I guess we're done. Alright. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight for Table Talk Thursday. This has been episode 13. This is your host, David, also known as HarperBrother_1, signing off. And
co-host, Reading Death Online. Kenneth, signing off. Please join us again next week as we continue to traverse through the slog that is the news.
yes. And as for my channel and probably his channel, there will be no videos for the next 3 to 4 days. 3 days for sure, I think, right? Yeah. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. So yeah, 4 days. 3 to 4 days. We're gonna go hang out and go out of town and go have a good time. So
if you like, you can watch our pods on my channel, Reading Death Online. I have a series of playthrough of Prey, of Don't Starve Together, Mafia 2, Bully Scholarship Edition, D4 Doctors Don't Die, variety indie games, etc. If any of that interests you, check it out. Links are in the description.
And over here, we have on my channel PUBG, Don't Starve, where we all played together anyway on a server.
Be sure to watch my video.
I think it was PUBG again, and PUBG, and some more PUBG. Some GTA in there, I think, sometimes.
GTA 5 Online.
Yeah, I think there's some GTA in
That
there.
was grindy, so.
I don't think there was anything else very special besides that. I don't remember if I played any games solo. I don't think I did. Yeah. Either way, have fun, check it out. Thank you everyone for coming out here. Have a good night. Bye-bye.